Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Wildman George of Overlord SR, and you're listening to the Will and Thunder Show.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. Will and Thunder Show.
Ridiculous. Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Well, welcome into the Will and Thunder Show. I am Kevin Thunder. It's Tuesday night. It's time to talk some music and have a little fun. So out here in somewhere out on the road in the middle of the Carolinas and the Outer Banks, we have William Telltale. Where are you at, William? You in there somewhere?
I am in the mobile studio, but I'm going to step out so you can hear the type of predicament that I'm in right now. If you can hear that, there's a storm coming in off of the ocean. Oh my God, it's really bad. I mean, the trees are bent over at a 90-degree angle. Anyway, what's up?
Okay, well, I didn't realize we were on the Weather Channel here, but thank you, Cantori. Also out here somewhere, I have Chris, the lady in black. Are you out here?
It's a regular Al Roker we've got in our room.
Well, welcome in, guys.
Well,
I would have called him a regular Dallas Reigns, but I think only LA people would know what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Well, could you hear the wind? Because I stepped out of my mobile studio.
Actually, it wasn't that bad, but earlier when I speak to you earlier, yeah, the wind was howling quite bad out there. So at least you found you a windbreak and found you a little shelter, and we can get on with this rock and roll business. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, well,
sounds good to me.
Let me let everybody know where I'm at. Basically, I'm on vacation, and for the first time ever, the other shows, from as far as my end is concerned, is live from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And right where I'm at right now, I can see the Wright Brothers Memorial Tower. It's probably about maybe a half a mile from me. It sits up on a really big hill, and it's probably a good 100 feet tall, and like a lighthouse, but not. And I've got the ocean about maybe a quarter mile from me. So. Very, very cool, man. Very cool, man. I did the show from the beach not too far back, man. Right there in it was around August sometime. It was good times, man. So, well, congratulations on the vacation. But you got to do it from the beach. You got to do it from the beach. If I was on the beach right now, you wouldn't be able to hear me because of the wind. I mean, it is kicking up something fierce.
Well, I apologize.
Well, it sounds like you're having a good time.
That's
yeah.
Right.
I'm sitting in my mobile studio here. I've got a cooler full of Pepsi. Well, anyway.
Blue Cokes. Blue Coke. We'll call them Blue Cokes.
Yeah, it's in a blue can.
That's right. So it's a Blue Coke.
Right. There we go.
That's what my kids call Bud Light. I mean, it's a Blue Coke.
Okay.
That's my thing right there. There you go, guys. Hey, kid, come here. Bring me a Blue Coke. Well, anyway.
So what's up with you? What's up with you there, Chris?
Oh, lots of stuff going on. I guess we got a lot of news to talk about, and we got a band on tonight. So have we got any football discussion to get out of the way? Anybody or?
Actually, yes. First and foremost,
The Dolphins suck.
you guys know who Rob Baronis is?
Tennessee
Yeah,
Titans.
he was a kicker for the Tennessee Titans for 9 seasons. He passed away the other day. He got into a car wreck, and he was not a mile from his house and passed away. Actually, something I did not know until he passed away. He's actually married to Terry Bradshaw's daughter.
Right.
Wow.
So, I mean, but new story out today. And I live here in Tennessee, which is I'm only about 2 hours outside of Nashville where this happened. Well, the story now is that it was a road rage incident on his part.
Oh, no.
Oops.
Exactly. There were some students driving, and something happened, and he got out of control and was trying to run them off the road and ended up losing control of his SUV and went off the road and hit a bunch of trees.
God, these NFL guys are getting out of control. I mean, God, haven't we had like another wife-beating incident over the past week or something? Or
Oh, yeah, another wife beating. And beyond that, there was I'm not even going to pull that joke, while we're talking about serious stuff, but anyway.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'll withhold myself. But yeah, I mean, it's been a bad deal, and I really don't. I mean, you've seen with some of these other, well, not other sports. I'm going to say I'm going to go to professional wrestling, but especially you see a lot of these guys that have had testosterone enhancement and using roids and all that, and they go into roid rage, and because it really affects your brain and everything. Well, a lot of this, the hard hitting and the concussions and the actual damage to the brain, I don't know if this is more serious than people think, but I think it would have been more in the forefront in the past if that was the issue. Because they wore less protection.
Yeah, that's a problem in the pro wrestling too. I mean, a lot of these guys take everyone always says that it's fake, but they do take real hits to the head, and a lot of these guys, they get sucked up in the head, and they have really bad injuries. And these guys, the professional wrestlers, they perform 250 nights a year. There is no off season in the WWE.
Exactly.
I know a guy who did local league wrestling, and he told me, I mean, there's the only thing that's fake about it is the outcome. I mean, pretty much they're trained on how to take falls. Some of the things where they're some of the things like when they're stomping them or whatever, that's a little, that's staged and everything. But every fall that you see, I mean, how can you possibly fake falling 12 feet from the top rope down to the floor?
Exactly, you can't. I mean,
and just because it's premeditated, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Everybody always says wrestling's not ballet, but it's not true. To me, it's like, it is like ballet because ballet is choreographed too, but nobody ever calls it fake dancing. No one ever calls ballet fake dancing because it's choreographed, and it's just as choreographed as wrestling.
Exactly. In wrestling, it is a sport. You have to be athletic. You have to be in shape. You have to take the time to hone your craft and all that. But yeah, I mean, but as I was saying about, the head injuries, I can see, people put that out there, and that's a problem, and that's why there shouldn't be you can't hit a person this way now. But I mean, if you look back to where, like, my grandfather played football, they wore leather helmets, and they hit just as hard back then. Nobody had teeth and, actual real scars. They had metal cleats and
the glory days.
I mean, yeah, the glory days of football. I mean, when they're playing out there and it's snowing, a foot an hour, and they're still playing football.
Yep.
Right.
You didn't have rain delays.
As far as all this football, domestic violence and all this other stuff goes, I think my boyfriend brought up a good point when we were talking about this. He said, you know what? He said, I honestly think it has to do with the fact that there's a short season and they just spend like 9 months with, when they're not training or not busy doing football-related stuff with nothing to do, all this money and time on their hands, and, they need to be kept busy. They need to have other stuff to do during the off season, or maybe make the season longer or something, because maybe that's a lot of the reason why they're going around doing all this stupid stuff. They don't have
too
really
much time on your hands,
Exactly.
Well, exactly.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, it's actually the season itself is almost 6 months long, from the first regular season game to the Super Bowl. So I mean, it's not and they do the entire month of preseason. Then you've got like a month of training camp and everything. And obviously if you're not in a if you're overweight, you're going to get cut. So I mean, they do have to keep it in shape during the off season.
Well, I'm not saying they're sitting at home eating bonbons per se, but
right.
Right, but I mean, still,
like
they have a lot of time in their hands and a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know, when you're given free reign.
Both.
Right, and on top of that, especially when it comes to football in America, it's just like soccer around the rest of the world. If you are a star football player starting in junior high school, you're treated like royalty and allowed to do whatever you want to do for the most part. I mean, you don't have to go to class, so, for the most part. If you do something stupid and you get in trouble with the law, they'll kind of slide a little bit. Oh, this is so-and-so, from Alabama or whatever. The one thing that I am seeing now, though, is maybe the reason we're hearing more and more of this, it has to do with social media and everything. Everything is so quick to hit the wire nowadays. You can't brush anything under the rug anymore. Everything's going to be out there. I mean, this could have been happening for years, and they had their policies how they handled it. But they'd handle it in office or in a team within the team or whatever.
And you know what? It probably has been happening for years. I mean, the only thing that wasn't nearly as prevalent in the past as it is now is things like shootings and teenage gangs. Well, hell, gangs have been around since the 50s, and maybe even before that. It's just now they have guns.
Yeah, they have better weapons
than the cops.
But seriously, and so so when people are talking, the violence of the sport, it's is what drives, is a driving force behind this, but I don't agree with that. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, a group of 50 young men and women came out of a restaurant next to a Kroger in Memphis, and they were African American, and this guy was coming out with his groceries, and they attacked this guy. 2 workers came to try and help the guy, and this mob of 50 people brutally beat these 3 people for no reason. Now, I mean, of course it was on the news here, but if you go back 12, 15 years ago, well, like you said, you heard about that. You wouldn't have heard about that in the Carolinas.
No, I wouldn't have.
I'd have heard about it, and I could have told you about it, but that's the only reason right, and that's a big deal. I mean, that's crazy. Same thing with these,
doesn't really cover that stuff, in between finding out how much Kim Kardashian's ass has expanded and, whether or not Lindsay Lohan went to jail today. I could see where, less important news like that would get shuffled down to the bottom of the deck.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of, okay.
Well, hold on that note, which is so, hold on, no, we'll just let me finish this. And, it is sad that that's the world we live in, because if you look today, you go to a newsstand and you can barely find a print newspaper. But you can find 30 different magazines about Hollywood stars. The Insider and In Touch or whatsoever have you. Everything in the grocery market, you got 30 magazines right there when you're trying to check out bullcrap stories, but you can't get a real handprint newspaper. I mean, so many newspapers are shutting down. It's getting close.
The news, that's all it is these days, pretty much, is just gossip. I mean, it's not even news.
Right.
Nobody reports the facts anymore, even when it's about something unrelated to celebrities. It's always just, like when something happens, per se, for example, like when that missing plane disappeared. I mean, every time you tuned into CNN, for example, all they would do is sit and theorize what they think happened to the plane. It's just, this isn't news. You're just sitting here rehashing the same old shit. And you're not telling me anything new that I could learn from this. You're just all sitting there, talking about your opinions like we are now, but we're not getting paid for it.
And that situation's crazy, that whole plane thing. We talked about that for the first 3 weeks when it was gone, and it kind of faded away. But I still sit and wonder, what the heck happened to that plane? Is this really like a Twilight Zone thing? They haven't found a piece of it.
Nope.
It really boggles my mind.
I'm staying out of that one. I'm staying out of that one because it could be anything,
Oh, yeah, I know. It could be multiple different, things. I mean, you could theorize anything, but I really want to know. I want them to find one piece. I don't care if it's a lug nut off the tire. Just tell me if you found something.
Somewhere. Well, I remember reading online somewhere, the stuff they make the black boxes with, why don't they just make the planes out of that?
That's what I was thinking, too.
Going back to 1986 when the Challenger exploded, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, they found every single last little bolt of that ship. And,
right.
and that was using the technology that they had. They back then they didn't have satellites that could read the ingredients from a beer can from outer space.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get with GPS. I mean, you can find a fingernail under seven layers of dirt on a GPS, but you can't find a plane with
right
300 some odd people.
It totally blows my mind. I mean, it's
right.
like this literally is like a space
going on.
There's something underhand is going on, or this is like a real phenomenon where this plane did just disappear. They're flying, and all of a sudden,
it's one of the two. There's like a Bermuda Triangle thing, or it's just underhanded Malaysian government shit that like we probably are better off not knowing about.
Probably. Anyway.
But, yeah. On that
note, now that we've hit the spectrum from football to head injuries to missing airplanes. Will, you had 1 point to make, or did you already make that?
Yeah, I wanted to, before we went any further, because Chris and I were talking last night, and we've got a lot of stories to cover for history. We haven't done history in a while, but
I know.
But this is a busy week for rock and roll history. But I wanted to, we do the news first, and then we get to history. Okay. But I did want to get give a shout out to Chris here for she's running the board tonight because I'm.
Yes, she is.
Thank you guys.
Go ahead and give yourself the applause there, Chris.
Oh, I was actually.
That's right. Hit the applause button. And we thank you for doing this because obviously it was either you or me doing this, and I am so technologically unadvanced. I've got a smartphone that's smart I am. I can't. I don't know if I could probably do it, but I'd probably end up having one of my kids in here to show me how to do everything as I'm going about it. So no, Chris, great job. Thank you for first of all for being part of the show and for picking up my slack because I can't handle it.
Well, you don't do so bad yourself, Thunder. You do a very good job on the show as well, and let's give you some applause since we're all here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have the most enthusiastic audience on planet Earth, no doubt.
Always. and you know what? I'll just stick to what I'm good at, talking out my ass. So, there we go.
So, all right, I guess are we doing the news or the history first?
We're going to go ahead and talk some music news, so here we go.
All right, let's get to it.
That's a badass riff.
Oh, really?
All right.
And there we have it. We got some news going today. And honestly, Will, I have to give you props. That is a pretty cool riff right there, man.
Thank you.
It really is. Good job. Well, why don't we give you some applause, too?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you in the front row, come see me after the show.
And I'd like to thank all the little people I had to step on to get here.
Hey, leave me out of this.
Very funny, Thunder.
I do what I can. I'm here all week. Good job with the buttons right there. You're spot on. You got this. Anyway, what do you got in the news there, Mr. Telltale?
Well,
before Will gets to it, I have a bit of Sonic Cathedral related news that kind of touches back on what we talked about a couple weeks ago. And as far as bands that we can now cover at soniccathedral.com, Guar is officially now one of them because they now.
That was one of my stories. Yes, they do. That was one of my stories. You got me.
They now have a female singer, and this is part of my terrain, so I had to cover it.
It is.
But yeah, they now have a female singer, and her name is She has the lovely name of Volvatron. I love this. And she squirts blood out of her boobs.
That is so awesome. Her real name is Kim Dyla or Dayla or something like that. And she was in a band before this, so you can look her up before you guys get all like, where you have to go and see the show and you see if you like her. But the name of the band, do you have that, Chris? Her former band?
No, I don't. I don't have the name.
Oh, wow.
I
Thunder just stumped Chris? Oh, my God.
Are you ready? You ready for this name?
I'm not a Guar fan. I'm sorry.
Okay. You remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about female bands, everything. I told you about my friend's band named Slut.
Oh, she was in that band.
No, she was not in that band, and I thought that was a wretched name. That's pretty cool, but, the name of the band that she was in before she just joined Guar, and they played at Guarbecue, which is a festival that they do every year, and she's actually sang with them before. But anyway, the name of her band prior to Guar was Kung Fu Dykes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That is pretty good.
So
I
now
wish I had a soundbite of Kung Fu fighting to share with you guys right now.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Damn, I should have looked that up.
So now with Kung Fu Dykes, that was the name of the band, would she be good at, instead of cutting ninjas?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out.
It was just a joke. Anyway, I know it was horrible, but I tried. Man, Will doesn't have the board, and I still got it. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, and she's even put some of her own in. So I mean, she's probably gonna wind up getting me before too long.
Yeah, I'll get one of you somehow. I don't know.
One sound effect we really need is the sound effect when Pac-Man dies.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a great one. That's right, game over. Okay, Will, we're gonna talk after the show. I gotta write that down because I have a great idea. We're gonna combine two of them. You ready for it? It'll be the Pac-Man thing, and then at the end of that, when it makes the final sound, you got to throw in Mortal Kombat Fatality.
Oh, I'll have to look those up now.
Winner. Anyway,
I got a news story that I'm dying to tell. I mean, this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a great news story.
I think it was last week. When we were talking about how the metalhead's brain and the fan of classical music's brain were like virtually identical. Well,
the
this
link
week
between the two.
Yeah, this week we have a story that says that today's pop music and rap music rots your brain and turns you into a dumbass.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
The typical pop music fan.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I mean, and I've actually been saying that for years. I mean, especially today's back when Michael Jackson was doing pop, there was actually some substance to it.
Yeah, pop music in the 80s is a whole different spectrum than it is nowadays, for definitely.
Right. Now they all have that same 4-count beat that never stops, never does the boom, 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 with 3 or 4 chords just playing over and over and over again with meaningless lyrics, mindless lyrics and everything, and it's just and I see it happening because the place where I work at, that's what's coming through the loudspeakers outside. And you actually see these people who are, like in their 20s and everything. It's like they know the song, and they like every song that's being played, regardless of what it is. Now, and this particular Sirius station that they have on is, the coolest thing that they play is a brand new Bon Jovi song, where he sounds, new Bon Jovi sounds nothing like classic Bon Jovi. I mean, it's apples and oranges.
I don't like any Bon Jovi, so it's all that's all a moot point to me.
but now it's more adult contemporary rock than
it's like countrified almost.
It is. He has actually done a lot of collaboration with country artists. I mean, it is.
Right.
It's become more and more folky, rock, country.
But these people, they listen to all this music and everything, and they go out and they don't really like or dislike any of it, but they know all the words to it, and it's like it's like they're being spoon-fed, you know. Soylent Green is people. But
Soylent Green, exactly. But I mean, you're right. I mean, and you see it's you know, like almost in groves, people just kind of walking in their corridors, you know, and the music is like playing. Boom, boom, how boom, exactly boom. When you have that steady rhythm going like that, and lyrics like "Show me how to Dougie," show me how to Dougie. What is that? That means nothing. You're talking about a dance.
By the way.
I'm surrounded by assholes.
But I mean, seriously, I mean, there's no concept to it. I mean, even if you look at R&B nowadays. I mean, the R&B of
isn't
today.
even the same what it used to be.
No, I mean, there's no funk to it. There's no Motown sound to it. There's no.
No.
I mean,
there's no difference between there's no difference between R&B and hip hop. Really, none.
No, and you know, and even rap music was better in the '80s too. I mean,
oh yeah.
You know,
I mean, you look at Dr. Dre and
the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Yeah,
right,
they had different
you had
subgenres, you know, different variety of different types of rap music for whatever you were into, where now it's just all the same shit.
And it had meaning to the songs. I mean, they were talking about persecution and, you know, and living in, you know, in desperation and stuff like that. Now it's all like, you know, look, man, look at my gold teeth and look at all my money and, you know, I got tattoos and I got a piece of gold on my neck that weighs 42 pounds. Come on now.
Do you remember, what was it, NWA? Or probably one of them, they had that band in the USA. I mean, there was actually,
that's Two Live Crew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Two Live Crew. That was great.
There was actually a meaning to that. Run DMC. I mean, the stuff that they did back then is groundbreaking. And I was watching an interview with Scott Ian of Anthrax, and they actually asked him. They said, "Well, what do you know? You're pretty big with hip hop and everything. You love the Run DMC Aerosmith collaboration in the '80s. You guys did Bring the Noise with Public Enemy. Is what do you think of today's rap, like 50 Cent and you know all that?" He's like, and Scott Ian just said, "It's all garbage. It is. It's nothing. It's 3-second loop playing over and over and over again with some guy who knows how to rhyme 2 words. They don't even have to make sense half the time. It's garbage." And that's pretty much
seriously.
But that's pretty much all music. You know, all music today. Even country is starting to go down that road.
Absolutely.
Every country song that's on the radio right now it's all it's
pop and rock based.
When a guy sings it, this is what the song's about. Okay, I see a girl there. She looks real good. Hey, girl,
I'm at a bonfire drinking a beer.
Get my truck.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube that actually shows like all the they strung together a bunch of the year's most popular country songs, and it basically it's the same content of every single song. It's just you know, drinking in my truck, gonna find a girl, gonna kiss her, and take her down to the lake. You know, it's just basically that. And stop by at Walmart or somewhere along the way.
You know, well, you know, honestly, you know, like Johnny Cash back in the day, that was country music. And you go even further back, you know, Waylon Jennings and, you know, even the Possum, you know, I mean, I know country music. I enjoy real country music. My dad was a country music fan. And, I mean, there was a difference back then. When you had, like, the outlaw country guys, there, Willie Nelson and them, you know, that was country.
Yeah.
Huh? Mm-hmm. That was country. And, I mean, it had more meaning to it. Most music nowadays doesn't carry the meaning. Even if you look from, you know, 80s and 90s, the metal bands, they had meaning to their songs. And nowadays, I mean, the metal bands still try and push it through, and, you know, they try and tell stories and all that. But a lot of this stuff is just, it's so mimicked, and it's so overdone and overplayed.
It's not as much the mainstream metal bands. You know, it's not as much the mainstream metal bands. I mean, the bands out there in metal that are pushing more of the creative lyrics are not as well known here in the U.S., which I'm sure we can talk a little bit about with our guests who are from the U.S., but they're definitely more influenced by what's going on in Europe and that style of music.
Like,
so,
A Sound of Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean,
they are,
there,
man, let me tell you what.
It's going to be on the radio, you know, I mean.
I'm going to tell you something right now, Chris. I'm glad that we had you on the show to start with. I'm glad that you became a part of the show because you really opened my eyes to a genre of music that I was blind to. I was never into never really even heard or was a part of that whole fat metal idea. But like the band we had on last week, Sonata Thunder, is one of the best bands I've listened to. I just enjoy everything they do. I haven't found a song I don't like from them.
Actually, there's some good news about. We got some good news about A Sound of Thunder as well. They're actually on the Billboard charts right now. They made it out there, and they are proving all the haters wrong. Everybody out there who says that bands like them cannot make it in the U.S., they're fucking doing it, and
Well, check this out. So, and that's right. Give us some applause. And remember this, guys. Remember this. 2 weeks ago, they weren't on the Billboard charts. Last week, they were on the Will and Thunder show, and what happens?
That's right. That's right. We made that song.
I will take full credit for that. I will take full credit for that. Yeah, right.
You like that? Look, I love that. The proof is in the pudding. They weren't on the charts. They came on our show. Bang, bada boom. It's like magic. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's beautiful. I love it.
This is great.
And that's going. I'm telling you right now. That's going on our resume right there.
Damn right.
You're damn straight. We can now say that we have Billboard charting band, A Sound of Thunder, on our show. We've had them on our show.
That's right.
So we've had bands that made the Billboard charts on our show. So suck it and drunk.
And they weren't on the Billboard charts till after they were on our show.
Yeah. Like within a few years.
They've been around. They've been around. Look, they've been around since 2008, 2009, right around there. And they come on the Will and Thunder show, and the following week, what happens? Listen up, guys. If you're out there in radio land, you better give us a call. We're working this thing for real.
Hey, you know what? If it happens with this band that we've got on this week, then we know that we've got something going here. So we'll just keep
That's right.
going.
That's right. Speaking of the band we have on this week, the name of the band is Insatia, and their album's called Asylum Denied, which that's a really cool name right there because I don't know where you go after that. If you're, Asylum's Denied, you're done like dinner.
They're working on their new album right now, so hopefully when they get in here in a few minutes, they can talk to us a little about that and see what's happening next.
They're from Arizona. And famous.
Oklahoma.
I'm sorry. Oklahoma. It said Arizona on the.
Well, Zoe lived in Arizona, but she has relocated to Oklahoma. I think a couple of band members still live in Arizona. We'll find out when she gets there.
Well, I saw Arizona. She was at a school in Arizona doing a little like meet and greet with the kids there, and there's an awesome picture of her with this young girl, and they're giving the devil horns. It was awesome. But anyway, I have a story about Arizona.
Horns.
Huh?
Metal horns. The Dio horns.
Metal horns, okay. Whatever you want to call it, man. When I was growing up, it was the devil horns, but anyway.
Well, we're not devil people.
I didn't mean it that way. I mean it's my bad.
It's the
anyway,
just call it the Dio horns from now on. Let's
Dio horns, okay.
Dio horns.
Okay. Now, a old time serious rocker, man, that put metal into the mainstream and had everybody looking is Alice Cooper, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him with the black eye? He actually just opened up in Phoenix, Arizona, his own thrift shop, believe it or not.
Nice.
Which I know this
what
sounds kind of funny as a story.
I have to go.
Actually, he's selling a lot of his wardrobe there. One of his favorite things to do when he's on the road is he loves going to flea markets and he loves going to thrift shops to find, things that he can wear on stage, kind of weird and eccentric things. And on top of that, the stuff that he buys wherever he's at, in regular stores or whatever, stuff that he's worn on the road. Well, when he gets home, he says he comes home with like 10 suitcases, and he's got to pick through what am I going to keep, So he decided to open a thrift store. And it's called Alice's Attic, which I thought was kind of a cool concept there, that you can actually go and get a piece of rock history, and it's not going to cost you $10,000 at an auction or $150,000. You can go there and this shirt was worn by Alice Cooper, man. How cool is that?
So basically the anti-Gene Simmons, because that guy. I mean, Gene's fingernail that's going to go for about $10,000 at least.
Exactly. I clip my fingernails in a hotel room after a show, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna sell those for $2,500 online.
That's what he's doing. You know it.
I guarantee it's happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure definitely. I don't put anything past that guy when it comes to money.
No.
But you gotta admire him. You gotta admire him, though. You have to. I mean,
I wish I knew his secret. Believe me.
Damn right.
Exactly.
I wish I knew how to make money like that guy. Believe me, the fun I would have.
The one thing about Gene Simmons has found a way to put his band's logo on every single thing that you buy in America. Everything. He's found a way to do it.
From birth to death. He's even said, from birth to death. You've got Kiss baby clothes all the way up to the Kiss coffin.
Kiss casket.
Famously.
Right.
Yeah. That our beloved Dimebag Darrell was buried in. So, there you go.
Let him rest in peace, man. But I thought it was kind of cool there that, and I actually now want to take a trip to Arizona. I had no intentions in my life to ever go to Arizona. My brother's been there. He said the air is so dry, as soon as you get off the plane, everything just dries up. You can't breathe. Your nose starts bleeding. I mean, the elevations are up and down. It's desert. But now, guess what? I'm considering going to Phoenix, Arizona, because I want to go buy a piece of Alice Cooper's clothing, or just something. Be like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. Look, there's a little bracelet, or there's an earring, or whatever. Here's something. It's rock history.
Yeah,
I don't have to go.
So bad.
All right.
It's Americana.
Okay, Thunder. Since you were talking about Alice Cooper, remember, a few days ago I was telling you that I had a surprise for the two of you. And you said, well, yeah, you're gonna go ahead and break down and spill it.
I knew you would. So you're gonna break down now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, you're allowed to break down about this secret, but you're not allowed to have a breakdown. All right, so just keep. All right, go ahead.
I'm on vacation. There will be no breakdowns right now. Okay, you remember our buddy Mick James?
Yeah.
Okay, and Chris, if you're unaware, Mick James is the guy that does the theme music for Chris Angel's Mind Freak. Have you seen that show?
Oh, nice. Yes, I love that show.
That theme song is our buddy Mick James. He
wrote
that, and he's one of the best guests that we've ever had on the show. And he's doing he's released a concept album called Mick James is Dead, and it's basically his dying, and it's a theme album for a movie that he's producing under the same name, Mick James is Dead. And
okay.
But anyway, he asked me, a while back I had asked him if he wanted to be on the Halloween show, and he asked me about it last week, and I told him what day it was on. He says, "Oh man, Alice Cooper and Motley Crue are on. I'm going to that concert. They're in town, and I'm going to that concert." And I'm like, "Well, I don't want you to, I don't want you to miss any of that concert on account of us." I said, "Although it would be cool if Alice Cooper got on the phone and said, 'Hey, this is Alice Cooper. You're listening to the Will and Thunder Show.'" And he's like, "I'll see what I can do." But
we'll see. We'll believe it when we hear it, right?
But that's not really the surprise. Thunder was just talking about Alice Cooper, so I thought I'd throw that in. The surprise is he's going to make a promo for the Will and Thunder Show.
Oh, nice!
Mick James.
All right. That's
what I'm talking about.
We may have a new intro after the Halloween show. I'm going to wait until the Halloween show to promote it, but. So we may wind up with a new intro or at very least an awesome promo from the same guy that did the music for Chris Angel's Mind Freak.
You know what? How cool is that, man? And you know what? He was one of the coolest guys I've ever met, man. And it was a great interview. Actually, that interview we did when I was in Nashville, I was actually on the road that show, and kind of on location kind of thing. And it turned out so cool. This guy, he's from New York. He's got the New York attitude. And just a great up straight guy. The movie concept's really cool. He's the idea of the movie, Chris, because you weren't you didn't hear the show, but it's a guitar god. He's one of those rockers, and he's got everything, and kind of flaunts it, and it kind of meets his demise because of it, and then it shows him how he got there and why he's where he's at, and the after death kind of thing. The concept sounds really awesome, man.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, hold on a second here. What?
What?
we're looking at about quarter till here before we get our guest on in about 15 minutes, and there is a lot of stuff in history from what I understand.
History, yeah. Let's
we
do the
better
history.
do that.
We got to get to it.
And now, this week in rock history. Rock history.
Okay, what stories? I don't have anything in front of me, so I know a couple of the stories, but I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and throw them out there. I'll just
I got one real quick that kind of coincides with a couple things we talked about. All right, we were talking football earlier. We were talking about pop music and the pop icon Michael Jackson. Well, this week in rock, or in 2004, was the Janet Jackson nipple thing.
I thought that was at the Super Bowl.
It was at the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowls aren't in September.
What? Well,
Super Bowls aren't in September.
You guys are correct, but online, and it's one story that I found.
You just saw nipples and you didn't read anything else.
Hey, look, I was done like dinner. But no, it said Janet Jackson and the costume malfunction in 2004. I don't know.
That was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was
you're right.
Super Bowl.
And I didn't even think about that earlier. So now I sound like a complete jackass.
Get it?
Hit it.
Yes, and right now I am frozen up, so I'm a little bit delayed in my response.
No, it's okay. Don't even worry about that. You guys go ahead because I mean honestly, as soon as no. I'm gonna go back to that site here as soon as we're done with the show here, and I'm gonna look that back up because I swear to you that was right there in front of me, and I was just writing stuff down. Anyway.
Yeah.
It was
we'll just overlook that.
It was. Stop it. Actually, I guess it was their first practice for the performance, and I have no idea.
Okay, you're done. You're done there. I mean,
I am. Look, seriously.
Just calm down.
Wow.
Just
And none of that even. Never mind. Go ahead.
Just
take a salt tablet.
Just do that. So, all right. Does anybody have any history? Because I think Will mentioned something to me a couple of days ago. So.
Well, yeah. You go ahead.
It's coming up in a couple of days. Well, all right. On the 27th, I remember this one. So it's on the 27th of this month on Saturday will be the I believe the 28-year anniversary since the passing of Cliff Burton. So. That's something that's going on in rock history right there. So, the day that Metallica officially became pussies. All right.
Yeah, Cliff Burton, man, amazing bass player, man. That was a total different.
Ridiculous.
He is ridiculous.
Mhm. Yes, very much.
I'm trying to shy away a little bit from that word, but anyway, no, he unbelievable, man. The solo that you look up on YouTube. The guy is, he learned how to use that bass better than anybody. I mean, the sounds and just the style. He was unbelievable. He was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have a soundbite for that. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, seriously. I mean, and Metallica's had some good bass players after that. Jason Newsted was awesome, man. He was good with Flotsam and Jetsam, but I mean, it just still wasn't the same after that. And it is when the real Metallica did die. I wouldn't call them pussies quite then. They still put out a little bit of good music.
That was when the pussification began. It just took a while to fix it.
And see, that's what saddens me so much is because their news bass player, growing up, was one of my favorite bass players when he was with Suicidal. But you know what? The whole slap punk funk bass doesn't go along with Lars and all that. I mean, you can't put that together. So, as well as or as good as Trulio is, he doesn't fit the style, and it shows big time. Metallica, the newer stuff that they've done, there's not a song that I can name besides Saint Anger. I don't know any of their.
Right.
Exactly, but Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. That's good
here's
music.
another one. I just found another historical document or piece of history that Will shared with me the other day. September 25th, day after tomorrow, 1992. 2 fans were stabbed and 20 were arrested after a fight broke out at an Ozzy concert in Oklahoma City. And police later blamed the sale of alcohol at the concert for the incident. So, yeah.
Yeah, because every time I drink a Budweiser, I want to go out there and bludgeon and stab people.
But they weren't blaming Ozzy for once, which, showed...
Exactly. Well, that's true. So that is a day in history. I mean, you mark that down. It wasn't Ozzy's fault. It was alcohol. That's awesome. Ozzy's, Ozzy was in the hotel room that night going, oh, shit. Sheriff, they stabbed and beat each other. And then all of a sudden, like, no, it's alcohol. It's not your fault. He's like, all right.
Oh, yeah, he was starting to, the beginning of his incline towards the mainstream. So, yeah, finally they're not blaming Ozzy. He's becoming acceptable to the masses.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's another historical event that took place during this week. And, lots of good stuff there. So
Absolutely.
let's see if I can find anything else. No, I think that's all I have.
I sent you a third one. It was another one about Ozzy, I think.
Yeah, it was about him. I think he made a formal statement about how he wouldn't partake in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if Sabbath ever got in at the time. So let me see if oh, there we go. Ozzy formally requests that Black Sabbath be removed from the nomination list for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, saying that the inclusion would be meaningless. He said, let's face it, Black Sabbath has never been media darlings. We're a people's band, and that suits us just fine. How come 2014 Ozzy doesn't remember that?
2014 Ozzy doesn't remember what he did in 2013.
Exactly. Did you ever watch that show?
Remember what he did yesterday.
Look, did you ever watch that show?
Yes, I loved
with Ozzy and the Family. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. But here's the deal.
I watched it religiously. I loved that
Me
show.
too. Ozzy cannot, which I don't understand because he cannot speak legibly, period. But if you give him a microphone, somebody's got some pipes and he's articulate as any news anchor I've ever met.
Actually, a lot of singers are like that. If you listen to, like, for example, when you hear Mariah Carey speak, it sounds like her and Miley Cyrus. They sound like they've been smoking a pack of Marlboro, like a carton of Marlboros over the last 5 minutes. They talk like this. But then they get up to sing, and they're like, la, 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 we sound so nice.
For example, I mean, it's right. I mean, you hear me talk. You hear me talk and everything, and I've got I don't really have a deep, articulate, like, powerful voice. But when I'm doing a show and I'm talking in between songs, I'm not talking like this. I'm talking more like this, and
right.
It's really
like you're taking a crap.
What are you, the singer from Creed?
Hello, my friends, we feed a cat.
You actually know the words to their songs? I'm backing away from it.
With bowels wide open.
Yeah, with cheeks wide open. You still can't take a shit.
Hey, speaking of singers who sound like they're shit while they're singing, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was the king of that. Oh, my God. Man, let it go, man. Look, it sounded like he was on stage and didn't want to fart. It sounded like he didn't want to fart. Everybody must get stoned. Hold it in. Don't let it go. Oh, it's okay. Come on now.
Actually, that wasn't a bad Bob Dylan.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I thought he was a surprise guest for tonight, for a second there.
Here we are. I'm here all day.
That was
here all day. All right.
Oh, man, I mean, and now there's a guy who could write music, and he had good lyric
content. Yeah, we better
content.
stop before we have to pay Bob Dylan. We don't have the money.
But seriously, I mean, he had no vocal ability at all.
No, God, no.
Neither does Tom Petty.
I hear you. You're right.
Tom Petty's awesome.
Well, yeah,
Tom Petty is and Tom Petty could carry a note better than Bob Dylan could.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He actually had, a little range. Bob Dylan, everything he's saying sounded the same. Like he was constipated. It's like he actually ate too many greens or something. Like, all right, now I'm ready to go sing in the studio right now because I can't shit. We're
I
ready.
always thought he sounded like what you would sound like when you're squinting at the sun, trying to. I can't see.
Exactly. Oh, the sun is so bright right now. Oh, I'm driving down the road over a hill. I can't see. I'm gonna die. I know that was horrible.
Where's my
Yeah.
sunglasses?
I can't remember the name of the song, but Weird Al. You know how Weird Al did "Dare to Be Stupid," which was a style parody of Devo. It wasn't a parody of the song. It was doing a song the way they did. He also did one with Bob Dylan, and I cannot remember the name of it. And it is so spot on. It's as spot on as "Dare to Be Stupid" was with Devo. Go ahead and give me the jackass for that one.
But honestly, you know what?
Okay.
That's a guy who does not get enough.
That's impossible.
That's actually somebody who does not get enough credit for his musicality right there. Weird Al Yankovic is a genius. I'm sorry. I mean, I think that he's a genius, man. I mean, as many styles of music as he's done. Oh, I know. I mean, as many different styles of music that he could do. And he started with an accordion.
Yeah.
That's it, an accordion. And his buddy had a box that he beat up with spoons or some shit like that. I mean, he's done every genre of music, and he's done it well. He can rap. He can sing. He can do pop music, rock music. He does it all. And I think it's hilarious.
It looks like our guests have logged in. So, what do you guys say we play a song and get them in here?
That's what we should do right now.
Don't forget to, Chris. I know that you won't. I know that you won't forget to do this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Just don't forget to mute people while we're playing this song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I'm glad that you told me that. I probably won't bring them in until after the song's over.
Well, I mean, mute us. Mute the three of us.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me that. All right. Well,
sorry about that. I meant to tell you earlier, but I forgot. But I have to go. I have to run into my hotel room and get something. I'm leaving my phone in the car. My mobile studio.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, here we're gonna play you a song from Insatia, and what song are we playing?
Actually, we're gonna play the first one of the singles from the album. I think they made a video for this one. It's called "Image of Stone." So let's rock it.
All right, let's go.
Hello.
Okay, we're back. Is everybody here?
Yes, indeed.
I
All right.
believe.
Welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. How you guys doing, man? Come on in, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
All right, does
Okay,
everybody
so,
want to introduce themselves?
That's right. Go ahead, guys. Who do we got on the line right here?
Well, I am Zoe. I am the vocalist for Insatia. I'll tag team it. How about Matt next?
I am Matt. I am the lead guitarist for Insatia.
Sweet.
And I am Seth. I am the drummer for Insatia.
Right on, guys. Now, is this a new lineup versus the ones in the video, or are you guys all the same that have been doing the videos?
Well, this is actually a very new lineup. Obviously, I've stayed the same. I don't think I've changed anyways. But we have a new lead guitarist and a new drummer. So.
Okay, well, welcome on in, guys, man, and thanks for being a part of the show.
Oh, we're very glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was great
Oh.
to get you guys on the show. Glad to have you guys in, and happy to meet the new guys in the band.
That's right.
They're,
So,
they're really awesome and worth meeting. So.
Yay! Well, Zoe and I have
well,
met
come in,
several
guys.
times,
So, go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I was just saying Zoe and I already know each other, so I already met her. So, but I never met the other guys in the band.
Now, I have a question. I noticed we heard from the guitar player, the singer, and the drummer, and I noticed in your videos player there either. I got it. Thunder here is a bass player, and I'm
what do you got against bass players?
Face foaming at the mouth.
Oh, we
you guys need a bass player.
We definitely have nothing against bass players. We are looking to audition a permanent bass player, but at the moment, believe it or not, our bass player is a highly talented musician. Well, I'll let the other guys tell you what a great musician he is before I say anything else. Guys, explain how good our current bass player is.
He is amazing. Capital A. Awesome. No, literally, this man has more music knowledge, more music credibility, more music feel than most people I've met in my life. He's incredible.
Yeah,
so
and,
how come he's not staying permanently? Is it because he has another gig, or?
It's because, well, he's only temporary, and he happens to be my father, who has a white-collar job the rest of the time. So
Dad, rock on, Dad! You know what? That's so awesome.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, hold
That's
on.
so metal, right?
Have you guys done any shows?
He's pretty boss. My dad's kind of awesome.
I love you guys more than ever right now. Because, look, man, I'm 41 years old. I got 6 kids. And I have an 11-year-old who's been listening to the show, that we do here, and he wants a guitar for Christmas. That's what he wants. He wants to be a rocker. He loves, metal guitar. And if he was ever to come to me in like 10 years and be like, Dad, we need a bass player, and you rock, you know what? That'd be it right there. That'd be it. It'd be like winning the lottery.
You are a good father, sir. You are a good father. That's just it. And and I can already tell just by the way you're talking about him that you've taken the time to connect him to good music like my dad did. I mean, all of my first shows, Rush, Nightwish, Within Temptation, those were with my father. So I owe my dad everything in terms of music. I do.
Zoe.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say one thing I love. One thing I really love about Zoe as an artist and a musician is that she is also a mom, and she's a lot of artists out there don't really want to talk about their kids or don't try to downplay it, it has nothing to do with my art, but she owns it and is very proud to be a mom and an artist as well. So I think that's so cool.
Well, I just hope to raise my daughter as well as my dad raised me. That's what it comes down to,
That is so awesome.
Well,
you know what?
There's so many parents out there that try to raise their kids with the good music, and they just go the wrong way for whatever reason. And so it's always cool, when the kids take a cue from their parents, this is good stuff to listen to.
Oh,
you gave your dad props right there, and you gave your dad props. I'm going to give you props right there for you straight up saying the musicality and everything. This guy's amazing right here, and then it comes out afterward. Oh, he's my dad.
Yeah. Now
That's awesome.
I have a question. You said you've done shows. You said you've done shows with with this current lineup, including your father, right?
Well, actually, our first show with this current lineup will be October 1st with Sonata Arctica in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So you guys are in Arizona, right?
We are all in Arizona. Well, most of us are in Arizona. Beth sometime soon. So.
I'm sorry. Repeat that. I'm sorry. We had a little
Our
audience
was just so
involvement. They love you guys. They love you.
Oprah.
They really love you.
Oprah, you know?
I've never seen our audience.
Exactly.
I've never seen our audience this animated toward a particular guest before. That's crazy.
Me neither.
I had to give them applause simply because when maybe you guys don't realize it as much because you're still really new to this kind of music, but for them to open up for bands like Sonata Arctica and Delane, and at this point in their career, is a huge score. I mean, this is like
absolutely.
There are a lot of bands out there that have been around longer than them and maybe been a little bit more successful than them that are still hoping to get a gig like this. So that's why they get the applause.
And the reason they get the applause is obvious. Is there's talent there. They wouldn't have that gig if they didn't have the means to pull it off. And so congrats to you guys, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we're working really hard, and we're really, really happy. We are so blessed to have the opportunity, and we think life could not be better right now. And in fact, we'd also like to take this time to announce that we'll be having another show with Dark Tranquillity, the Swedish melodic death metal band, in January, also in Phoenix.
Nice.
So.
Cool. Any chance you're going to take your show on the road, or?
I'm sorry, we don't have. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just have to ask a question. With your dad in the band, I mean, you're an attractive lady, and men are, let's face it, men are douchebags. Now, let's say you've got this one asshole like in the front row at the show, and your dad's on bass and everything, and he starts saying, maybe he's had a little bit too much to drink or snorted a little too much crack or whatever.
I should answer this question.
And he starts saying things that men have been known to say toward you.
Are you asking if my dad's going to rip his face off? Are you asking if my dad's going to break forward?
All you have to do is take off your bass. You take off your bass and you swing it like an axe, and then you put it back on and you continue playing the show. It's simple.
Well, the thing about my father is 6'4". He doesn't really even have to take a swing for you to want to back up.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think people well, not only that, but Zoe could hold her own too. So I don't think that her dad has to worry about anybody being disrespectful.
I'm also 5'11" myself. I'm taller than most men, and definitely in the heels that I wear on stage, I'm over 6 feet. I think in general in life, if I have gotten the unwanted attention from guys, my dad is very cool and composed about stuff, and he trusts me to handle it. He really does. I mean, if a guy was outright I don't know, attacking me or something, I'm sure my dad would come and rip his face off. But otherwise, my dad trusts me just to take care of things because he knows I'm pretty cool in those situations. So.
Well, I mean, you seem pretty tough right there in that video right there where you're running through the woods and all of a sudden you set that doll down on the dock right there and you just kind of look at it. I'm like, okay, you know what? Look, she's a big girl now. She just let her doll down and she's gonna mess me up right now. So leave her alone anyway.
Drop the doll. Drop the doll. You know, the doll drop.
Well,
with everything going on right now,
thunder midget, so he's a little scared of.
I am. Stop it now. Yeah, she puts on heels right there. I'll be looking at her belly button. It's horrible. Anyway, but seriously, I mean, you're running through the woods at first, and it's a total change right there for me right there. I saw you running through the woods. You got the doll in your hand, and I'm like, oh, somebody's chasing her. Then you put the doll down, and you kind of look at it. I'm like, no, she was chasing somebody. They jumped in the water right there. Something happened right here.
I think the storyline for that video, I actually didn't do the storyboarding and a lot of the stuff for that video. That video was our first one, and I'm not as happy with how it turned out. But the overall theme was that you run away from you run away from adulthood. You run away from that feeling of losing what's important to you. That's what the doll represented. And eventually having to leave the doll behind and let childhood be childhood and adulthood be adulthood. That was really the idea behind the song, behind the video. So that it was really just a sort of, you cross that bridge and you enter something new and you have to stay there. It's just how it works.
Very, very cool.
Right. But and that was the video for the song we just played, or the one that I'm going to play next?
That was the video for the song that I'm assuming you're going to play next.
Yes, the video that they played, or the video for the song that you just played, that's where you guys are in that little cubby of trees right there.
The white trees of Gondor. That's what we call them, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the videos, so I got my names mixed up for a second there.
That video, the Image of Stone video is actually I'm very proud of it because for me it was a very personal testimony of sorts about eating disorders and about comfort with your own image and stuff. So I think between the two videos, that one is definitely a lot more personal to me. So.
And so right there, that actually has a personal message from you. How did that come about?
When I was in high school, I was diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia, and I went to treatment for it. And basically, since then, I've been really focused on wanting to empower people in terms of their self-image. I've gotten to teach elementary school technology, so I interact a lot with young girls especially. And these girls are like 10 or 11 years old, and already they're saying, oh, my thighs are fat, or, my face is too round. And it's like, you are 11 years old, and there are so many things about you that I adore. You draw beautifully, or you sing beautifully, or, you're so nice to everyone. Why are you so focused on these external things? So I think the video was just me trying to say, this is what's really important to me. And so when we shatter the mirrors, it's like things matter more than mirrors,
That is so awesome. Actually,
but honestly, I was going to say,
sorry,
I think that has more impact on the kids when it comes from a woman like you, because you're very beautiful, and and a lot of people would consider you like to be an ideal look, or so when it comes from somebody as opposed to say somebody who looks like me, who is Thunder's long lost Hobbit twin, they're going to look at you like, well, you're not saying that to be nice, you're saying that because you're so homely, but when it comes from somebody who looks who looks as nice as you do, I think they take it more seriously, because like, hey, if it doesn't matter to her, somebody who should always be worried about her looks, then I guess it doesn't matter at all. I guess it's not that important.
The thing is that all of us, no matter, and here's the thing, attractiveness is it's something you can't really even define anyways, but everyone, no matter what you look like, has these insecurities. We're all struggling the same amount as anyone else. It doesn't matter if we're Mariah Carey or anyone. We're all struggling with those same insecurities. And I've always said, eventually I'm not going to look like this, and I hope that I just have enough wit and badassery to carry me through the rest of my life,
Right. Well, that's another good point too. It's a good thing to teach the kids. Like, the way you look now, or especially in high school, like, the way you look in high school or junior high, you're not going to look like this forever. You're not going to always be whatever it is you think you are now. So I think that's another good point too. So
absolutely, and good, bad, or worse. I mean, the whole idea, like I saw a picture of you where you went to the high school there in Arizona right there, and you were talking with the girls, and you had that one girl there with you, and you guys were doing the horns right there, the rock and roll horns, and I'm like, before you're as big as Aerosmith or any of these big bands right here, you're already giving back to the community, and you already have a vision of what you're doing right there, which is awesome right there. And actually, there was my wife was watching TV the other day, was flipping through the channels, and I saw an interview with Cameron Diaz. And she was talking about how she's not going to do any plastic surgery or anything, and she, understands that, I may not get the roles that some of these other actresses might get because I don't have to be that person. I don't have to do the plastic surgery. I don't have to be perfect. I can grow old, and accept myself, and that's what you're doing right there and showing girls, especially young girls, at the age of 11, 12 years old. That's where you start looking at the boys, they start looking at boys, and the boys start looking at girls, and that's when they start worrying right there. Exactly.
It's so true. It is true. But that's what I love about Zoe as a person. I mean, this is, why I like having her on the show with you guys, because they're not only talented people, but Zoe is a really good person, like a truly good person who's, out there, like doing the right thing and doing what, waving the metal flag, and I just love that. I love when people are out there, when they back up what they say,
That's very
kind
of you. Those are very kind words. Those are very, very kind words, Dee. But to me, the way I see it is this is just what needs to be done. It's not doing a good thing. It's doing a necessary thing,
And that's the way to look at it. Because
though, sometimes the right thing is the necessary thing. So
that's right.
Well,
I mean,
I always get it. Thank you.
there's 100 million different charities out there, and you can give money mindlessly to any of them.
And then you feel like you've done your good deed. You're like, oh, I threw money at a problem, therefore I've done my good deed today.
But what have you done to fix the problem? And what you're doing personally is you take an issue that had affected you, and you're, on top of not only producing good music, but you're taking that to the next level and actually looking for a way to help these younger girls right there. And that's awesome. You know what? Hats off to you right there.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate that. It doesn't matter how big I get or if I stay in the same place. For me, it's like I just want to stay on mission. And if I'm off mission, then I don't want to get any bigger, you know?
But I think that
awesome.
good art is about spreading a message or sending or sharing. You know, I always talk about that, sharing a love of something. And so I do like when artists out there have a message. And it's so rare in popular music these days that nobody really has a message anymore. There's no one out there that's, you know, that's commemorating anything. It's all just mindless shit, basically.
Can I tell you why?
Everyone's commemorating themselves, you know.
Well, can I tell you why most popular music does not have a message? Because I know the answer.
Go ahead.
Well, we saw the scientific studies.
Thinking makes people uncomfortable. When you have to think hard about something that might be controversial or uncomfortable, then you don't want to think about it, and you really don't want to buy that music. I mean, for example, I love Epica. I think Epica is a band that asks a lot of hard-hitting questions that are difficult to ponder sometimes. And, of course, that's why they're never really going to be on the radio over here, because if you ask those questions, people are like, you know, that's kind of making my brain hurt over here. I think I'm going to go listen to Katie Gaga or whatever. I don't know.
Well, right, like a lot of, and a band that we all love here on the show and that you love, and, you know, but bands like Queensryche or Rush that are always, you know, pushing the envelope of what is acceptable intellectually or politically. They're always talking about subjects that, you know, hey, this is a little too over my head. I don't want to deal with this. You know, so I like when artists do that.
Oh, yeah, that's why Rush is so brilliant as well. Rush, by the way, is my father's favorite band for those kinds of reasons. Rush is brilliant.
And I love your dad.
And so do I.
You know.
And the funny thing is, you know, as you're talking about this, we talked about, you know, a couple of weeks ago about how classical music and metal music really brings something to your brain, and it makes your brain work better and all that. Well, that tells you why right there. You tell a story. You take a band like Rush and you take a band like Dream Theater, that right there is exactly what it's about right there. It's using that to produce good music and the stimuli right there. What you're talking about, I mean, there's meaning behind it. The feelings there, I mean.
I think for me it shows that the artist cares because, you know, it's so easy to just put together 3/4, you know, 4/4 music. But when you actually put thought into your lyrics and you want to create a different landscape or setting for the listener to chew on and to live by, I think it shows the artist cares about their music. They really want to produce the best music that they can so their listener feels like they're part of the experience too, and not just
and not just the lyrics. And not just the lyrics, but the musicality of everything is so more intricate. Exactly, it all goes together. If you have a common meaning right there, and you're trying to make a point, and everybody has that same feelings and ideas, the music itself is better. The intricacy is much more. I mean, on all levels of it, when it comes to the vocals and the music aspect of it. You take a band like Rush, who, I mean, unbelievable band. Some of the best musicians on their instruments of all times right there, and the words. That's how you get as big, you know, like Dream Theater and Rush like there. And everything just is unbelievable right there. And that's what it's come from, is having that mental fortitude, I'd say.
Well, everybody who knows me, they know that, it's Rush and everybody else. Like, that's me. So there's Rush and there's everybody else.
You attract better people. You genuinely attract better people with that music, I believe, because I think if people are willing to listen to those kinds of themes and ideas, they tend to be more introspective. Well, in my experience, tend to be better people.
Absolutely. Because if you're using your brain on every day, on every means, even when it comes to music, it hits your whole life right there.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and that's a connecting factor, too, for a lot of these people, including myself. It's not just music. It is a way of life, and it's, it means more than just, something to listen to while you're washing the dishes.
Right.
But, well, we haven't heard from the other guys. I mean, what's going on with all of you?
Haven't heard from me.
We are sitting back listening to fantastic stories.
Right.
Having a lot of thoughts based on what we're talking about with Rush and all that. Because I mean, my first concert was Iron Maiden at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Denver with my dad. So it's kind of the same things that Zoe was saying. When you're listening to things that are a little bit more controversial, it does kind of make you think a little bit more. But then at the same time, it kind of puts you out in that kind of gray area with some of the other people, in your culture alone. This person listens to this genre, or this person likes that band, and these guys talk about something that we're not really comfortable with, so we shouldn't really be friends with this guy, or we shouldn't listen to that music. It just kind of puts everything back into perspective, you know?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think the three of us are very fortunate, too, because our fathers have really inspired us with the music that they've listened to. I know my dad did for sure. I was 13 years old, and I had always stared at his guitar sitting in his room, and I was like, one day, Dad, I'm going to have you teach me this thing. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So I sat on his bed one day. I said, show me a chord. He showed me the A chord, and I was hooked for life.
Well, you know,
I have an idea right now. Guys, I have an idea right now. I know you guys are working on an album right now, and you guys probably have a name for it. But if you don't, I have the perfect name for your album.
We don't have daddy issues? What?
No. Forefathers.
Forefathers.
Because obviously, your dads have actually placed a staple in your life when it comes to metal music, which we consider, real music and what we love more than anything in the world. And you guys have that right there. And they've instilled their visions, their Congress on you right there when it comes to music. And they are the forefathers of your music right there. And that's awesome.
Sounds like like something that Sabaton would throw as an album title, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Thing is, like,
well, you guys are more than welcome to use it, man. It just hit me right there in the heart right there, listening to you guys talk about that and your dads. And you know what? And I hope one day, I'm going to go buy my son. I've already picked out the guitar. I found it for him. It's a little Fender Rocketeer guitar. It's probably 30 years old, and it's $100. And I'm going to buy him this electric guitar, and I'm going to get him a little Fender amp. And I hope one day that he is as talented as you guys are, and he looks back and goes, you know what? The reason I play guitar is because my dad played,
wonderful.
Right now, dude, you guys are unbelievable to me when it comes to that aspect of it. I love it, man.
Well, and kudos for the 6 kids, dude. That is just awesome. I grew up in a big family, and I think it was the happiest experience ever. So points there, seriously.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, actually, this comes back to a discussion that Thunder and I were having amongst each other about a week ago, because he is a dad, and he was talking about sharing his love of the music with his kids, and I just think that's so cool. I mean, I don't have any kids, and not planning to have any kids anytime soon. But I think that's just so cool that, well, my dog, though, he can't go to the metal concerts with me, so.
But that'd be the best dog ever.
That would be great, but he's too wild. He would, try to jump on shit, and,
That's
I
so
wouldn't be able
metal.
to catch him.
That's what we do. I do that. Hey,
the dog would be
Chris.
in the pit. The dog would be in the pit with everybody else.
Exactly. Hey, I was going to say, Chris.
Oh, my God.
Everything you just explained about your dog right there, it's the same thing I do at concert. I jump on people and act crazy.
I was going to say, man, this dog and I would get along great.
I don't go as far as licking people or sniffing their butts, but, I mean, close enough.
Yeah, I think my dog's favorite band is Dream Theater, actually. It's kind of funny that whenever I'm listening to them, he comes in the room like he's listening to it. And it's weird because he doesn't do that with any other music I listen to. It's just them. So I'm thinking that James must hit notes that only dogs can hear because he's always in the room when I'm playing them.
Now, the funny thing about Dream Theater, I actually had a story that I was going to tell about Dream Theater earlier on our little news segment. But you know that Dream Theater, I was trying to get in there, but check this out real quick. If you have an iPhone, there's going to be a Dream Theater app.
Oh, well, now I have to get one. Son of a...
Their keyboard player, Jordan, is releasing an app that, exactly, the wizard, with all his specific sounds that he makes and his little twills and all that. So you can sit with your iPhone and create songs.
Oh, my God, I
there
hate
goes half
talking with
my
people
life.
all the time, like, do-do-do-do-do.
Exactly. And you know how he uses a little whammy bar right there and gives those crazy guitar, all that's going to be on the app. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
All this is going to be on. And he said himself he was so surprised at how much sound and how much true, resolution and everything he could get through me. He's like, this is going to be the next big instrument in music right here.
Well, I hope
My
he's
name
getting
is
paid
and
for
I
it.
play the iPhone. Oh, yes.
More
I
fun.
know, that's going to be the next thing. Everybody come to see me in my iPhone.
Like, hey, what do you do, man? I'm in a band. What do you play? I play the iPhone. What?
I know, I play Jordan's iPhone.
Which is kind of, it's kind of sad in a way, but, I mean, pick up a guitar and learn to play the guitar first, play the keyboard first, and then you can use the iPad to throw a little mix here and there. But I don't want to go see somebody live and a guy standing up there pushing buttons, man.
Yeah, let's not go Skrillex too soon.
That's when you go to, an EDM concert, It's when you, go to some EDM festival.
Yeah, I don't think any of us will go to those festivals anyway.
No.
But no, I mean, just coming back to my earlier point, though, I just think it's great that there are parents out there that are, and the kids get into the metal too, because I see that a lot with people I go to shows with, and people that I meet at the shows. So many people are just, my kids are into this, and or my mom is into this, and I just think that's really great.
My 4-year-old daughter is a metal chick already. I mean, she has a list of about 10, 12 metal songs that she pretty much knows from start to finish, and we'll be driving down the road, especially like today when we were on our way out here to the Outer Banks. Play this song, play that song, play this song, play that song. Every single song she asked for was metal, and it drives. My wife tries to get her into like country and pop and stuff like that, and she's just not. She occasionally, but for the most part, she's not receptive to that type of stuff.
And when that happens, Will, don't you become barrel chested right there? And you're like, yes, metal wins. That's my daughter right there. You just feel like a king right there.
Blood.
Can I ask a question?
Right there.
Can I genuinely ask you a question right now?
Yes.
Like, why is your kid not at our rock and roll camp this week? I mean, seriously.
Because I'm in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, right about maybe 500 yards from the Atlantic Ocean right now.
Yeah, and I'm in Tucson, Arizona, which is about 2,000 miles away from you. This can be done. She belongs here. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll be there in 30 minutes.
Awesome.
I know, right? Right, just beam yourself on over. You'll be okay.
Sounds like you have a great kid. It really, really does. Good parenting right there.
We're raising the next generation of Insatia right here. She's going to be a rock chick singer. My son's going to be the guitar player. We got this. But the only thing is
Are we hiring Kevin for the new Insatia bass player, or what? Did I miss something?
I was actually thinking about moving to Arizona. Now, not just because Insatia they don't have a bass player.
Alice.
And Alice Cooper's got his own thrift shop there, so I can get clothes for the show.
And a restaurant. He has a restaurant.
Yes. Have you been to his thrift shop?
We have not been to his thrift shop. That is actually on our list of things to do up in Phoenix next week. I've got to take the guys there. So
I was going to say,
look, as I said,
thrift shop in Arizona, and I haven't been there yet. What is this?
I was a secret.
Just open up.
Gave it away.
It's called Alice's Attic. And a lot of the clothes that are there, he's worn on stage or whatever. How cool is that right there?
That's insane.
So boss.
It's like going to the Goodwill and finding, a Metallica shirt that actually Cliff wore.
Yeah, and it's affordable, which is really cool.
And you pay $10 instead of 10,000, 100,000. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta love that.
So I'm curious. It sounds like the three of you that are here are fairly young. I'd say 20s. What inspired who were your? I know you said your parents were your main inspiration, but like what bands specifically? Like was it Iron Maiden? Was it Rush? Who was it? What bands did you start emulating once you did pick up the drums or the guitar or even start singing?
Let's start with the oldest. Matt, you go ahead, because Matt is a little bit older than us too. Come on, old man.
I am. Thanks for grandfathering me in. Let me grab my cane.
Look, hey, look, you're still a young man.
Jeez,
Will and I are in our 40s here, so we're both musicians as well. So
I am young as hell, okay?
Yeah, you were young compared to us.
I'm good.
Wait a minute, hold on, Thunder, hold on. Okay, what did you just say?
I said that Will and I are 41.
Not you. The other one.
Me?
Yeah,
I'm young as hell.
Yeah.
Matt, you're asking Matt a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
young compared to us? That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I still feel great, and I'm not getting any older than this. I'm staying this age forever.
Well,
I've tried that.
I'm 25 with 16 years experience.
Right.
Nice.
Matt, are you going to tell him how old you are? Or is that privilege?
Yeah, no problem. I'm 33.
Oh, you young fuck.
He's just a baby.
Yeah.
Take off your diaper. Take off your diaper and tell us about your music career.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate, like I said, with my dad. He's always been a metalhead too, and he had all these guitars around the house, and he was always blasting Zeppelin and AC/DC and Rush and all these awesome bands. So fortunately, I got to grow up playing guitar with him and learning all these awesome songs that he's been learning. I think one of the first memories I have of him actually is playing Kashmir and some AC/DC stuff too. And I was like, man, I want this. And he ended up buying me this really super cheap guitar. I think it was like an Aria Pro 2 Cardinal series. I've never heard of it before in my life. But he bought me one of those, tiny little Galleon Kruger amp, and I still to this day have that guitar because it's that important to me. He's just he inspired me with a lot of early metal. It was really cool. Blood rock.
That's
all kinds of crazy, like unheard of things I've never heard of to this day. Like he's had all these vinyls and stuff. It was really rad.
That's awesome, man.
That's really
and
cool.
Did your dad play in a band, or did you just play guitar at the house, or whatever?
Actually, he used to play in a band when he was my age, so he's living through me right now.
You know what? That's what I'm waiting for my son to do, so I can be like, you know what? And Will and I played together for 10, 15 years, man, and we started having kids, and had to get real jobs and grow up and take care of things. But yeah, I know exactly where your dad is right now, brother. Trust me.
Oh yeah, and he just turned 65 recently too, so I had the fortune of giving back a little bit, and I bought him a really nice guitar to say how much I loved him and how appreciative I was of him teaching me all this stuff.
Awesome.
Wow, that's really cool.
You are a great man.
Yes, sir.
Stop.
I'm telling you right there. That's unbelievable. That's awesome, man.
Hey, love.
Well, let's before we get the other two's influences, let's go ahead and play the next song.
Okay, I think
Ooh.
this next track we're gonna play Journey's Call, which is I believe the what is it, the doll video or the Wooded video?
Yes, where she's running down a dirt road in the middle of the woods.
I'm never gonna be able to look at
with
that
doll.
song the same way.
This is Seth's favorite song, by the way. So.
Anyway,
all
right, let's go ahead and play that song.
Let's give it a spin then, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right.
That's right. It's Insatia on the Will and Thunder Show.
All right. That was a good job, guys.
Well, thank you.
Is everybody
Great job,
here?
guys, man. I'm here.
All
So
right.
I guess Will, where you at there, William Toto?
I'm here.
Were we all blown away?
Welcome back.
Absolutely,
to the,
man.
Well, literally, it's like sustained
40, 50 mile an hour winds. I got you, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I actually blown away by the music, man. I love the musicality of it, man. I love the vocals right there. Great job, guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
it really is the thing is that the guitar work, especially on that song, is really a testament to the musical skills of our former guitarist, John Harris. It's quite a tragedy in some ways that he's no longer with us, but he was such a really good writer, and I know that we're going to be able to do just as good on this album, and we already are, but it's just, I'd like to give a shout out at this point to him and his work, because he really is a fantastic musician and really, really just rounded out that song really, really well, so.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due right there, and I mean, there's nothing against Matt right there, your new guitar player right there. That right there was, his work right there, and I can't wait to hear more from Matt right there. I'm just talking. I mean, I understand. I mean, the way you're talking, the way you love music, I can't wait to hear the new things are coming. So the album that's out
if
now.
you want to hear more from Matt, Matt is phenomenal. He rocks it. So you are in for a treat. So.
Oh, you guys.
Oh yeah. Well, we have.
Appreciate it.
We have a brand new song that we're debuting at this Sonata Arctica show, this brand new song that Matt and I wrote together, and it's phenomenal, the guitar parts, and it really is just a very balanced sound. It allows room for all the other instruments to shine, and the guitar work is so nice and meaty, so it's great work on Matt's part.
So
Absolutely.
are you guys working on the new album right now, or do you guys have a ballpark estimate of when it might be done, or are you guys just taking it as it comes?
We're looking at a spring or summer release for next year at this point because at this point we have too many songs and we have to kind of narrow it down to our top dozen, and that's proving to be really hard, especially for me because the concepts for all of these songs on this upcoming album actually came from me, and so for me it's like trying to pick which of my babies I like better. So.
Right.
Who do you like most out of all your kids right there? It's horrible.
And Thunder was talking about how your sound, how it developed it is, but you guys have evolved even more since this album because probably what Will and Thunder don't know that I know, obviously, because we're friends and everything, but Zoe is actually trained with the great Floor Janssen, which in our genre of music is like a god.
It's like the holy grail of music training right there.
Yeah, it's pretty much like if you guys, to try and narrow it down to somebody you guys might know.
Like Howard Stern telling us how to do radio. Howard Stern telling us how to do radio.
Getting vocal lessons from 1988 Jeff Tate. Let's just put it that way.
I understand that. Or as I said, like Howard Stern telling me how to do radio. You have a genius out there who.
No, Robert Johnson telling you how to play bass. How's that?
That's right.
Not Robert Johnson, and if you're gonna use Louis Johnson, use the name right.
I'm not
which is the most amazing bass player of all times.
Play it, fucker.
And I'm gonna tell you. Huh?
Zoe Sad is.
That's right. Represent.
Right. But no, I just think that's really cool that she had the opportunity to work with somebody like that, and
that's unbelievable.
I believe Zoe told me she wished she could go back and record the last album since doing vocal lessons with her because you were saying that your voice improved so much from that.
Oh yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of reasons I would like to go back and re-record those vocals. It's not just Floor, who really helped me develop the lower part of my range, because and just beyond being a good teacher, Floor is a genuinely nice person. She's humble, she's sweet, she's very honest and down to earth. I can't say enough good things about Floor just as a person. But beyond the fact that she's helped me develop the lower part of my range since recording the last album, I was also 8 months pregnant when I recorded the last album. So that was not fun. Yeah, my diaphragm was not working with me at all. So.
Well, you know what? And that's awesome that you said that because we've had a lot of metal bands on our show right here, and you use the high range a lot in most of the songs right there. And for you to work on the lower range right there, that's the kind of kick right there, when you're doing a song. And the femme metal I love, but I love the femme metal that gets a little grunge, get you a little rough, gets to the low end of the sound right there.
Raspy. Don't use the G word, please.
No, I'm not saying grunge, raspy, whatever. But you know what I mean right there. I mean, because there are some bands out there that, you know what, it's all high. It's all high right there. It's all falsetto or around that range right there. And you get down low, but you've been working on the lower part right there. I like that right there. Because I think that if you threw more deep ends to it, a little bit deeper volume to it, and it would envelop the songs better.
Well, the thing that really has helped out is that on the next album, like I said, is that I have written all the songs, at least all the vocal parts myself. And being able to control where the songs are going note-wise is huge for me, because it means that I can explore the lower end of my range, the upper end of my range. I mean, you're going to hear some crazy notes on both ends of the spectrum on this album, because I can finally, use it to the full extent, and I really like being able to do that, because I have a pretty wide range, actually, and I like to be able to use it, because it's my instrument, and I'm like, this is what my instrument can do. It's not limited to these 2 octaves, so.
Right. Yeah, I love that idea, because that's how you tell a story right there. When you're using music right here, especially on the vocal aspect, when you're using that instrument right there, it has to do with octave and articulation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And,
what's that? Good.
Huh?
Go ahead.
So I mean, when you master both aspects of that, of articulation and the volumes of your voice and the tones, and where it goes on the register right there, that's what really tells the story right there. And I think you have it right there. But you saying working on the lower ends, that would make it that much better. It's already right on. When you throw little low ends into it and weave it in there, that's what makes that sound right there. It gives you the emotion. It tells you the story right there. When you can go up and down and tell your story, emotionally wise, that's how I feel it.
I think you're very, very correct, and I think it just shows what a good technical singer a singer is when she can go in between those parts, because there are all sorts of these passagios, is what we call them in classical training, where your voice moves from your chest to your head and stuff, and you can feel it moving up and down, and these transitions can be really, really hard when you're going between really low and really high notes in a song. So it's really just about technicality, about your technical skill when you can do that, when you can go from your lower part to your upper part of your range.
Right.
I understand that. I mean, and that has to do with a lot of music these days right now. When you have that throaty sound and it's really full and everything, and you hit that a cappella for just a second, whatever kind of music it is, I mean, you can feel that change right there and the difference right there. Mm-hmm. And when you can do that, especially when you combine that with the vocal image right there, or the lyrical image, that's where you can feel. And so that's what tells a story right there, to me, right there.
Right.
When you have that peaks and crescendos, and you can use your vocals to do that, whether it be with words or with the vocal quality of what you're doing right there, that really is what tells a story. The words are one thing, but you have to. I mean, because like me, when I read a book, I'm not reading it monotone in my own voice. I'm watching as things go, and you raise and lower, and you're excited or you're not excited. And when music does that to you right there, that's where you really send a message.
Oh, I agree. I entirely agree.
I don't know if that was muddied or not, but if you got my just right there, I hope you did.
I completely understand. Oh, we're gonna miss out on Seth's story. Speaking of stories, we're going to miss out on Seth's story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we haven't talked to Seth that much, so is there anything you'd like to add to the discussion?
Speak up, brother.
They say about drummers, 5 musicians and a drummer died the other day in a car crash. I'm just kidding. I love you, Seth.
Oh. That's okay, because the drummer really isn't the musician. They're a clock.
Hey, Seth, I'm going to tell you something right now. Seth, let me tell you something right now. It's not just drummers, it's bass players too. We're the rhythm section. We would hold everything together and starts the base of everything, and we're forgotten. You're the guy behind the drum kit.
Wait, I have a bumper sticker on the back of my car that says, like most musicians, you're following a drummer.
Exactly. I love you. God bless. You know, that's the way it is right there. You know what? The singer gets the girl, guitar player gets the girl, and they're like, oh, he's just a bass player.
Well, in fairness, bass players aren't always forgotten because who were we discussing earlier whose death 20 years ago still resonates with all of us.
Well, because
so
not everybody's
not
Cliff Burton.
Entirely.
Not everybody's Cliff Burton.
Cliff Burton.
God bless America. You see, you got to be Cliff Burton or Neil Peart to get any fucking stature right there.
Had a bass player. And you know what they say? I mean, how many drummers does it take to change a light bulb? 5, 1 to change it, and the other 4 to complain about how much better Neil would have done it. So, there you go.
That's a guitar player. That's a guitar player joke. You did not just turn a guitar player joke to a drummer joke. No,
how many guitar players?
No. The way the real joke goes is how many guitar players did it take to change a light bulb? It's 5. 1 to do it, and 5 to say, I can do that.
Oh, I thought maybe it was to say how much better Eddie Van Halen would have done it or something like that.
Oh, whatever. Come on now,
I
guys.
like how it went before that.
Right. Well, whatever.
Well, guitar players.
That's how I heard the joke, and I'm sticking to it.
The guitar players are too egotistical to throw somebody else's name on there. So therefore, the way Thunder said it was correct about guitar players.
Thank you.
Let's hear the,
and let me tell you what.
Story.
Without drums and without bass,
the singer and the guitar player would get paid more.
Oh really?
Wow.
Wow. Look, we're going there. We're going there. We're going. Okay. Thanks for playing there, Cupcake. Now I know where you stand.
Tomahawk cruise missile delivery.
Hey, do me a favor, Seth. When you send the bombs and the death threats, remember that I'm a bass player and I'm on your side.
I appreciate it. Just so I know somebody's got my back.
God bless America.
Okay, let's hear the backstory. Well, we got. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement now. The show is going to cut off here in the next few minutes or so, right at the top of the hour. But that doesn't mean that the show is going to end, because it's not. What will happen is the show will continue, and then sometime, it's usually the next day, but I'm on vacation right now. I probably won't get to it until the weekend. But it will be up on YouTube, to where you'll be able to hear it in its entirety. So when the show goes off, off at the top of the hour, don't worry about it. The show, you'll be able to hear it in its entirety in a couple days.
So
spit it out there, Cupcake. We got it.
So should we play the last tune then before the end of the hour, or do we want to wait?
Let's go ahead and play Insatia's last tune right now. While people are listening now, this is Insatia. Great, man.
Yeah, Zoe requested this song, so we're going to play a track.
We're going to play while everybody's
You.
listening. Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it.
underneath your seat to the car. I'm sorry.
Actually, you know what? That right there was
like
an awesome song right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it was perfect timing
that
because
right
right as the applause ended, so did the broadcast, so that everybody got to hear the song in full, and you know, now we've got
Perfect
overtime.
timing.
All right.
Yeah, all this that we're doing right now will still be on the podcast on YouTube or whatever you want to. Is it a podcast? I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm not that technologically involved, but anyway.
I listen to it on my iPod. It's a podcast, so you're good.
Okay.
But thanks, guys, man. That song was awesome right there, and your voice right there. You gave a little more power right there. I mean, you were right on.
But can you guys take over for just a few minutes? I have to mute myself. My dog's yelling at me. Just so carry on. I'll be right back.
I understand. We'll carry on.
No, let the dog out.
That's right. First of all, I want to say a couple things real quick. But anyway, first of all, Seth, as a drummer, we're going to have to learn to deal with it being just a percussive session. And that's all we are. God love you, man, and keep banging on them fucking drums and having a good time with it.
Oh, trust me, it's not going to be coming to an end anytime soon. So,
well,
you know what? I'm going to slap on the bass as long as I can live right there, and whether I become famous or not, I don't want to be Billy Sheehan and play lead guitar. I'm a bass guitar. I want to be known like Louis Johnson and Cliff Burton as a bass player.
Right. Have you heard the Winery Dogs album yet?
Yeah, I've heard a couple songs, and they're good right there, but you know what? He plays a little more bass with the Winery Dogs than he's played in his whole life, but anyway.
Now, Seth, we got to get the backstory, man.
Well,
what's your favorite drummer?
My favorite drummer?
Yes.
My favorite drummer is Jukka Nevalainen from Nightwish. That dude is, he's an animal, so.
Very, 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 very good. And when did you get your first drum kit, man? How did that happen?
Well, funny enough, I actually never planned on being a drummer. I was a concert violinist all through middle school, elementary school, high school. I had a scholarship to CU to play violin for the University of Colorado. And
nice.
Through the work that I was, it was pretty sweet. Through the work that I was doing at the time, I actually sustained a fairly substantial hand injury, so I lost the ability to play as well. So I also lost the scholarship with it.
Hey,
whoa, stop right there, Seth. You got to explain how you got
No. What happened to your hand, bro? Man, that's crazy, man.
Hold on. Please do me a favor and turn off the speaker. And I'm hearing echo and everything all over the place, and it's like that speaker ain't working for me.
Are we good? What's going on?
That's much better.
So, really, man, you were a violinist. So, look, man, I played almost every instrument in a school band. I started when I was in 4th grade and started playing clarinet. I played French horn, baritone, trombone, trumpet, everything. And then finally, in like the 10th grade, I'm like, look, dude, I want to play in a band. So I dropped everything, quit band, and picked up a guitar, which your guitar player was talking about his first guitar. Mine was it was called a K guitar. Yeah. K-A-Y. It actually had a speaker built into the body of it.
Oh, that's wicked.
Wow.
No, it was the biggest piece of shit you ever found in your life. I think my parents bought it for like $2.50. We actually used it one day when I realized I was not going to be a guitar player and realized I wasn't going to be a singer because my voice is not indicative of singing because how deep it is unless I was in the Crash Test Dummies. And I sing that karaoke all the time, and I've won actual karaoke competitions because of that song, because of my voice.
Kill it.
That and the Beastie Boys, License to Ill, and
that's right.
That
is right.
But anyway, so my brother had a bass guitar. He had a old beat up PV Foundation. He's like, you know what, you can have this. It's your 16th birthday. He gave it to me, and I started playing bass, and I actually am a decent bass player. Love playing bass, and it's, ever since then for the last 20-plus years.
Don't let him be modest. He's a fucking badass.
I was just going to say, I have a feeling you're lying to me about the decent part. You're probably pretty epic at playing bass.
He's a fucking badass is what he is. I mean, that guy, I mean,
I pride myself in
badass.
being what I consider a true bass player. I don't play with a pick. I play with my fingers, and I love playing bass guitar. A lot of people, you never hear about it. You hear about the lead guitar player, you hear about the singer, and even you hear a lot about drummers, but you don't hear a lot about bass players.
Well, you know, bassists are probably one of the most underrated musicians. Just, I mean, the way that they see things is just completely different. You know, one of my really good friends is a bass player, and like some of the things that he talks to me about when he's just playing music, I'm like, wow, you need to put that in normal people talk, because I don't understand that at all.
Well, it's a foundation. It's a foundation. What you have to understand, when you're a bass player, you're the foundation of a band right there. You have rhythmic sound, and you have real sound. You have to be the point between that brings that together.
Right.
You have
absolutely.
to take real sound and make it rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do it in a way
for drummers and the rest of the band to communicate.
Exactly. And I got the graciousness of playing with a drummer. His name's Brian, who was a genius drummer who could read my mind. And me and him could play together like there was nobody's business right there. Whatever was going on musically-wise, he knew when I was going to throw a riff out there and do a line, and he would throw a fill in there that would fit. It's like we were connected by the minds right there. And that's how music works right there. You take a four-piece with
a couple musicians that are like that. You know, when you're just all on the same page, and every time one person throws something out, you're right there to match it, or vice versa. It's a very amazing feeling, and you know.
It is. And Will was a part of that band right there. He was a singer and a rhythm guitar player. We had a guitar player named Todd Teal.
Yeah,
Brian
I played lead too.
I know you did. I know you, but you did more.
Okay,
I'm talking about me right now. You just shut up for a minute. See, that's the problem with fucking guitar players and singers right there. What about me?
I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You note my silence there, seriously? I was dead silent while you were saying that, so.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just like, singers are always talking and stuff. No, I wanted to know that I was dead silent.
See, that was a kind of a little stab at Will right there. It was a silent stab at him. Yeah, but
you forgot about the other
and you know look back at the 80s and the 90s where we grew up, and it was David Lee Roth and Bon Jovi.
They weren't born yet. They weren't born yet, or they were like.
Well, they don't have a TV. They don't have a TV or never seen a book. They don't know about Bon Jovi.
I love
David Lee
Bon Jovi.
Roth.
Throw that out there.
Hey man, it's my life, okay? It's my life.
Now or never.
Anyway,
he's not gonna live forever.
I can live forever. I just want to live all my life.
But you know as well as I do. Now I have a question here, and we're all musicians here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Except for the bass.
Of all musicians, you hear about guitar players, you hear about singers, and you hear about great drummers. Besides the one great, Cliff Burton, besides the funky Primus God, how many bass players do you know? Name one.
Geddy Lee, like what?
Steve Harris.
Of course, Geddy Lee was a singer, which is the most amazing musician of all time. Huh?
Steve Harris.
I got one for you guys.
Steve Harris.
Are we still going on about bass players?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Sean
I've been gone
from
for like
Camelot.
15 minutes, so you guys are still going on about bass players.
Jocko
Thunderous.
I'm done.
Thunderous.
Oh my gosh. And then, I can't say Marco from Nightwish because he's also a singer, so I guess he doesn't count. But Sean Tibbetts from Camelot,
No, that does
phenomenal
count.
bass player. Oof.
Why wouldn't he count? He plays bass.
Well, because he was saying that, singers get all the recognition, so I guess.
No. Look, my face restored right now. Look, thank you guys. You guys just said like 30 names. I'm like, they do care about bass players.
Yeah,
we care.
Yes.
Oh, we care for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We care.
I feel
a
so
lot.
much
Yeah,
better.
they care.
Hold on.
Hey, Thunder,
Before we go any further.
Thunder,
Before we go any further.
Thunder, they care so much about bass players they don't include them in their videos.
Oh, they didn't have
that.
one.
I can throw a counterpunch at you right now. Okay, are you ready for
Hey guys, I'm gonna do you guys a favor real quick because I'm gonna do two things at one time. And Zoe, I've got you right now because I understand the situation. I'm gonna hop in my car and I'm driving to the west. Whatever you go, the West Banks or the whatever you are in Carolinas, I'm gonna drown you in the ocean that you're 15 feet away from. But her dad is the bass player who is awesome. So you just laid all the bass players under the bus right there. So I'm not only gonna drown him for my sake as a bass player, but for your dad who is so awesome to create you and create a rock goddess. I'm just gonna drown it for all of us.
You know what?
You better be careful, Will. You might get a bass player army up against you.
You know what you just created right there? Look, and guess what? We got great rhythm, and we hide well.
Yeah, it's funny because, our producer on our next album is actually a bass player, too. And one of the first things he said to me when I talked to him about the new album was, so there's going to be bass on this, right? Just really it's like, I'm going to be able to see a bass player in your videos, and I'm like, yeah, you are. I promise. We actually have a very talented bass player producing our next album, so trust me, the bass is going to be there.
First and foremost, this is one thing I want to say about this interview is that you guys are fantastic people, first of all, and you guys have a great sound and a good band. You guys are awesome. On top of that, your family values, watching that grow up, and your parents to instill that kind of music in you, it actually makes me feel good right there. I mean, it's what I'm doing. I mean, I was driving down the road the other day, and a song came on the radio, and I'm listening to what is considered a classic rock station, and my kids knew the words of the song, and I'm like, really?
That's beautiful right there. You can wipe a proud tear from your eye. Just that's amazing.
Yeah.
It did right there.
Right.
And right there, I'm like, and my son listened to a show that I did about, I don't know, it was 3-4 months ago, and heard a guitar player, and he's like, that's ridiculous. That's what I want to do right there. I want to know how to play guitar like that.
And it was a shredder. The guitar player.
Unbelievable.
One of these shredders that like Steve Vai. Paul Gilbert, Yngwie Malmsteen, one of those types.
And you know what? Talking to guys like you, I understand, in your 30s right there, you're a guitar player, Matt, you're in your 30s, but you're still living the dream, man. You're still right there. You're pushing through it, and your dad took you to a concert and instilled this in you.
That's it, man. It's going to be with me for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm never going to stop.
Absolutely. You'll never forget that, man. And that's what I love, man. I've got an uncle that played at Woodstock. That's
wow.
I mean, I was playing all different kinds of instruments in school. I always loved music. And then I started playing in bands, rock and roll. We talked to him one night, and he was like, oh, yeah, my biggest show was Woodstock. And I'm like, oh, my uncle played at Woodstock. Let me be a part of this music thing, man. It's beautiful. And then MTV was created, and then it was destroyed by teen pregnancies. But anyway.
Maternity television.
Exactly. But I mean, to see you guys at your age, you're 33, and the rest of you guys probably in your mid-20s or early 20s, to still bring this music back alive and to be a part of this and to understand, the ideas of Iron Maiden and storytelling and real music and, actually using the guitar as an instrument, not just, I play a 7-string and I can make sound out of it.
Right. That's the biggest thing about music is it's ageless, it's timeless. I mean, you could sit there at a concert and close your eyes and there's no age. It's all passion and feeling. That's all you hear.
Yeah, on top of that, with music, man, the one great thing about music, I don't care where it comes from in the world. I don't care if the vocals are in Chinese or if they're in Arabic or if they're in English. You don't have to know what they're saying because the music tells a story, and you can understand what's going on with it. And you know what? I love that. And as you guys be a part of that right there and, making your statement right there and stepping your foot down and saying, you know what? I'm in America, and I'm not going to play hip-hop right now. I'm not Justin Bieber. You know what? I'm going to play some metal music, and you can kiss my ass.
Right, metal up your ass for sure.
Every day I wake up and look in the mirror, and I thank God I'm not Justin Bieber.
I wouldn't mind having more money.
Every time I wake
about
up
it.
and look in the mirror, I thank the devil that he put Justin Bieber on this planet so that I can make fun of him.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was talking to my wife. I was talking to my wife today. When we were driving out here, and there's a meme floating around Facebook that has a picture of Ronnie James Dio and Justin Bieber. And as Justin Bieber, it says, canceled a concert because he had a stomach ache. And then Ronnie
Spit on
James Dio
somebody or whatever.
Played an entire tour while dying from, while suffering from deadly stomach cancer and dying.
Right.
And played an entire tour. And it's just,
Well, do you really think Justin Bieber believes in what he's singing? And the answer is no, because it's tepid, meaningless, repetitive, the same themes, the same ideas over and over and over again. And if you don't believe in something, why on earth would you suffer for it? Why would you suffer for something you don't really believe in? So
now, to be honest with you,
believes in
I believe
the bank account.
Honestly, I believe in the female booty. I think it's attractive. I love it. Would I sing about it all the time? No. But that's what they do.
Come on, you sing
that's
about
what it's all about.
I mean,
how many songs can you write about a buttocks?
It all depends on how many swear words you throw in between the use of the word booty.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a difference there. When it comes to music and it comes to musicality, it comes the same way. You can scratch a record so many times, you can use one beat so many times, and you can say the word booty so many times, and you have a record deal.
No,
but you can't take a band
like... The only
like...
group that gets away with saying the word booty over and over again is Hailstorm.
Right.
Because they're using the correct form of booty.
That's very true, sir. Good point. Good point.
The pirate's booty. Or what you do is you take a band like Insatia right here, you guys, who have meanings behind it, and you stand behind the meanings of your song. You not only write the song, but, I saw that picture of you with that little girl right there and tell her, you know what, you're perfect.
Perfect? What do you mean?
It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. Look, tell you what, you're a beautiful little girl right there, and you do what you want to do with your life right there. Be smart. Be straight. And one day, you know what? The funny thing is, there used to be a talk show called, Ricky, what the hell was it?
Ricky Lake?
The girl. Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake?
That used to bring, Ricky Lake, they used to bring people on that when they were in high school. Hold on, 1 second here. And when they were in high school, they weren't the perfect girl or the perfect guy. And then it shows them 10 years later. I'm just saying here, that's what you do right there. You tell them right now, look, you're doing great how you are right now, and it's never telling what you're going to be in the future. You take hold of the reins, and you make your decision right there. And that's awesome right there.
That's for
sure.
men. Yeah.
I never thought I'd be in this position here. I thought I'd be sitting in some concert hall at University of Colorado Denver, and just playing away on my nice little violin there. So.
I hate to interrupt, but can we let Seth tell the story of why he's no longer playing violin? Because it's a great story, and it's very unique. Let me tell you.
I'd love to hear it. And you said that you were in a situation where your hand got injured.
Yeah. By moonlight, I'm a musician and all this other fun, epic stuff, and I get to, help kids learn music and stuff. But by daylight, I am actually, believe it or not, I run and operate a martial arts school.
Awesome.
Nice.
So
that's so metal, right?
It really is, and it hits home to me as well because one of my wife's uncles is big into MMA and does MMA training and has actually worked with the Gracie brothers.
Oh, that's cool. That's wicked, man, for sure. So basically, what happened with my hand? I was teaching a really complicated, really complex Chinese sword form, and one of my students thought it would be really, really cool to check out how cool he looked in the mirror instead of looking where he was stabbing. And the point of his sword basically came in right in between my middle finger and my ring finger on my left hand, and it kind of dug its way into my hand, and I lost most of the lateral movement in the middle finger on my left hand. So obviously playing violin was pretty hard after that because that's pretty important as far as
Absolutely, man. That's
By a
insane.
sword. That is so metal, right?
You were
Stabbed
exactly.
by
That
a
is
sword.
so metal. Look, I stopped playing violin and started playing drums because I got stabbed by a ninja.
Fucking. Well, the thing is that
A young ninja, but a ninja at the same. What? God, really? Yeah, I have a question for you real quick. I want to know what you were thinking at that moment. You're sitting there like, all right, guys, and you're doing the 1, 2, 3s and everybody's, throwing punches and everything, and all of a sudden you get stabbed in the hand. That is...
Well, I actually pride myself on this. It's the only time I ever almost swore in front of my students. I didn't get it out, but I almost swore. I was like, and I looked around and I was like, there's like a bunch of little 8-year-old kids here. So I just kind of stood up and walked into the bathroom, cleaned myself up, and I was like, it's not that bad. Yeah, I'll be fine. And so
you're a bigger man than I am, because if my son was to punch me in the eye, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, really? And you got stabbed in the hand. Lost control of a finger.
The thing is, I looked down at it, and those computer-generated images of lava?
Yeah.
That's what my blood did, and I was like, I need to get out of here. I can't bleed on this carpet. That's the first thing that went through my mind. Just because I knew that if I bled on the carpet, I'd be in a shitload of trouble. So I ran into the bathroom, cleaned it all up. Yeah, it should be all right. And I put some paper towels around it, and, I finished teaching the class, and then I went to the emergency room, and, first I went to an urgent care, and they wouldn't take me because it was a bad
You finished your class first?
Yeah, there was about 20 minutes left, so, it wasn't anything major.
All right, straight up from now on, Insatia not only has great music, but they have a straight-up ninja. Look. God, okay,
They're
1, 2, all right, go.
They're the most metal band on the planet.
Really?
No, actually,
Literally.
Seth's nickname in our band is actually Black Ninja after that Battle Beast song. He's a Black Ninja.
God. Look.
That's
you
one
need
of
to
the
change
songs.
your Facebook page,
Black Ninja?
and his name is Black Ninja from now on.
Yeah, we call him that all
Black
the time.
Ninja.
So.
Black Ninja is actually
Zoe.
one of my 4-year-old daughter's favorite songs. That's one of the songs that she'll sit there and sing from start to finish. And we listened to that song probably 10 times on the way, on the drive out, out here today. Play Want to hear Black Ninja? Want to hear Black Ninja?
The funny thing is I had never heard this song until Zoe and Matt started calling me Black Ninja, and then finally today I heard it for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
I didn't realize that when we had you guys on the show, all right, here's Insatia. And actually, you don't have a lot on social media. You don't have, a lot of bands that we have on have, a little Wikipedia thing. And I was trying to find out who's in the band and all that. But I'll tell you what, I didn't realize that we'd have to have a 4-hour show. I had to figure you guys out. Because you guys just keep coming up with stuff right here. You're like, yeah, I'm kind of cool right here. I'm the singer right here. And, my dad's a bass player, and he's, he's the one that made, and I'm a ninja right here. I teach karate and got stabbed in the hand. No matter where we go here, everywhere you go is like a bigger story than the next. And I'm like, I thought that the whole thing would, my parents and I love this. It was like the biggest part of the whole interview. No, we had a ninja get stabbed in his hand. Really?
Well,
what else are you hiding?
After that happened, I thought that my music career was done. I was like, crap, I lost my scholarship to CU. I'm never going to play music again. And this girl who I was dating at the time was really into Nightwish. So she made me watch some of these videos. And I remember the first music video that I ever thought maybe I would want to be a drummer was the Nightwish song Bye Bye Beautiful. I saw that video, and when I watched the drummer, I was like, this dude's a freaking werewolf. I want what he's on,
Yeah, he's a really good drummer.
Oh, yeah.
He really is. So with your club hand right there that you're going to stab with, you're like, give me a fucking drumstick. I can figure this out.
Well, I thought about, trying to pick up some other instruments, and maybe trying to learn violin left-handed, and then I was like, you know what, that's a really stupid idea. And I watched that music video, and literally the next day I went out and bought a pair of drumsticks and just started hitting myself in the legs, and within about a month I had spent all of my tax money on a drum set and just kind of dove in.
Well, the one thing when it comes to a string instrument like that, when it comes to violin or cello or stand-up bass, if you're actually using a bow on there, there's a lot of rhythmic to that right there. There's a lot of percussion because it depends on how you use the bow right there. There's tapping, there's pulling on there. So, I mean, that was kind of a intro to you right there. When you're playing violin right there, there's times where you're pulling the bow right there. There's also times where you tap, and you get a different sound.
Different types of notes, different playing styles, even different eras of music had different bow styles that you had to learn. I remember we had pop quizzes on everything that ended in auto, and I think I may have failed one or two of them.
Well, you want to say, like, I took music in school, and staccato was, a quick, sharp note to it. And when it comes to playing,
legato, where it's longer and
And when you're playing the violin, you have to know how long to run the string or how to tap it or whatever. So that kind of gave you maybe a little heads up onto the percussion end of playing drums right there, which is awesome there because now your drum kit is like a violin to you. That gives you different sounds, different textures, and how you hit it versus, you can run and triple hit a drum head versus a single hit right there, and you understand that difference right there in the values of it and the sounds of it. You can, just run your stick across it and get 3, 4, 5 sounds out of it.
Right.
I think that makes you a very intricate and a different drummer right there because of the values that you already had as a violinist. That's really cool, man. That kind of blows my mind. I can't wait to hear your drum playing.
So the Devil Went Down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal.
That's I auditioned for CU on that piece. you had to play two songs that they picked for you, and then you had to pick one more song that you just felt that would demonstrate your skill as a violinist. And the Devil Went Down to Georgia is the one I picked. It was.
I love you. It's the greatest violin song not the greatest violin song of all times, but the greatest of my generation.
I want to see a band, any band, whether it's Insatia. I want to see Insatia do Devil Went Down to Georgia, but instead of fiddle player, guitar player.
That's on you, man. Yeah. That's all you.
I don't know, man. I think I can handle it.
I think you could, too.
I think you could. You just got to grow your beard out a little bit longer, put a cowboy hat on, and then you Matty Bennett.
No, but
hey, Chris, you still there? Did you ever make it back? Are you there, Chris?
Yeah, I've been here for like 20 minutes. Where have you
I know. We've just been talking. I'm sorry. I was just making sure you were still here.
Well,
I was talking to you a few minutes ago.
Damn, Thunder.
Oh, my God.
All right, damn it. Well, shit. I just got caught up in the conversation right there. My bad.
Me fail English? That's impossible. You're too interesting. You're way too interesting.
Anyway, look, I'm sorry. I just got into everything right there, and I hadn't heard you here in a second here. And I'm like, I was missing you. I missed you right there. And for a moment there, my heart was empty, and you weren't there, and my lady in black was not saying anything, and I missed you.
Well, thanks, but I was there.
See that right there? That's what I love about you most is that little giggle right there. Give me that to me one more time.
I can't,
all right, never mind.
I can't do it because
anyway.
it has to be genuine.
Actually, it was. That was beautiful. Thank you. I feel full now.
Oh, well,
anyway.
all right.
All right. Well, back. Exactly.
All right. Well, now that we've established my status.
That's right. I was missing you right there. I didn't know. I didn't hear anything from you. I don't know.
I've been listening to what everybody else is saying about the ninjas and all that good stuff. And
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
they have ninjas.
Hold on, let's go ahead and give it to Chris to go ahead and wrap it up because we're it's going to cut off again and this time it won't be recoverable.
Okay, so basically after I'm done, I just press end episode and it will record. What do I do?
You click end episode, and
okay, and that's it. And it'll save.
If everything's done. And
okay.
the beauty of overtime is I'm going to be able to edit this part out, and nobody will hear it except for us.
Yay.
Awesome.
Anyway,
well, no, we gotta
thank you
keep in
guys
all
for
the
being on the
ninja
show.
Stuff. Yes,
Hey,
thank
thanks
you
for
guys.
having us.
Thanks, Zoe, for wanting to come on the show, and hopefully I will see you soon. Are you coming out to LA in May, or are you gonna be out there?
I will be at the Greek in May. Yes, I'll be there for the night of the show.
We're gonna be together again. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. Thank you so much for having us tonight. We really appreciate it. It was fun.
Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time. We appreciate you guys being on there.
We enjoyed the interview big time. We usually don't, our shows usually don't last this long. And I mean, go to overtime, might have 10, 15 minutes. I mean, we're like close
30
to
minutes into the overtime.
30 minutes into overtime. That doesn't happen very
Exactly.
often.
And I can keep talking to you guys for another 2 hours, man. You guys are really cool right there, and we love you guys, man. Great music and great personalities.
Yeah, we definitely have to get you guys back after the new music is out. So we look forward to that.
It'll happen. You guys,
absolutely.
You guys are in for a treat.
Look forward
you guys are in
for
for a
the new
treat.
stuff. But,
and
but
Seth,
good luck with the show with Sonata and Delane in a couple of days, and wish I was there.
Oh, well,
thank you so much. We really appreciate it, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. All right, have a
great
good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
night, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Will and Thunder Show. The band that's going to take us out is Beyond the Fade from Charlotte, North Carolina. You can find them at Beyond the Fade at Twitter and also at Facebook, Beyond the Fade. The song's called Lights Out, and they're going to take us out. Thank you for listening to the Will and Thunder Show. We'll be back next week, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern till midnight, with another awesome guest for you. Later.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Wildman George of Overlord SR, and you're listening to the Will and Thunder Show.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry.
Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. Will and Thunder Show.
Ridiculous.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Well, welcome into the Will and Thunder Show. I am Kevin Thunder. It's Tuesday night. It's time to talk some music and have a little fun. So out here in somewhere out on the road in the middle of the Carolinas and the Outer Banks, we have William Telltale. Where are you at, William? You in there somewhere?
I am in the mobile studio, but I'm going to step out so you can hear the type of predicament that I'm in right now. If you can hear that, there's a storm coming in off of the ocean. Oh my God, it's really bad. I mean, the trees are bent over at a 90-degree angle. Anyway, what's up?
Okay, well, I didn't realize we were on the Weather Channel here, but thank you, Cantori. Also out here somewhere, I have Chris, the lady in black. Are you out here?
It's a regular Al Roker we've got in our room right now.
Well, welcome in, guys.
Well,
I would have called him a regular Dallas Raines, but I think only LA people would know what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, could you hear the wind? Because I stepped out of my mobile studio.
Actually, it wasn't that bad, but earlier when I speak to you earlier, yeah, the wind was howling quite bad out there. So at least you found you a windbreak and found you a little shelter, and we can get on with this rock and roll business. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, well, sounds good to me.
Let me let everybody know where I'm at. Basically, I'm on vacation, and for the first time ever, the other shows, from as far as my end is concerned, is live from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And right where I'm at right now, I can see the Wright Brothers Memorial Tower. It's probably about maybe a half a mile from me. It sits up on a really big hill, and it's probably a good 100 feet tall, and like a lighthouse, but not. And I've got the ocean about maybe a quarter mile from me. So
very, very cool, man. Very cool, man. I did the show from the beach not too far back, man. Right there in it was around August sometime. It was good times, man. So well, congratulations on the vacation.
But you got to do it from the beach. You got to do it from the beach. If I was on the beach right now, you wouldn't be able to hear me because of the wind. I mean, it is kicking up something fierce.
Well, I apologize.
Well, it sounds like you're having a good time.
That's
yeah.
Right.
I'm sitting in my mobile studio here. I've got a cooler full of Pepsi. Well, anyway.
Blue Cokes. Blue Coke. We'll call them Blue Cokes.
Yeah, it's in a blue can.
That's right. So it's a Blue Coke.
Right. There we go.
That's what my kids call Bud Light. I mean, it's a Blue Coke.
Okay.
That's my thing right there. There you go, guys. Hey, kid, come here. Bring me a Blue Coke. Well, anyway.
So what's up with you? What's up with you there, Chris?
Oh, lots of stuff going on. I guess we got a lot of news to talk about, and we got a band on tonight. So have we got any football discussion to get out of the way? Anybody or?
Actually, yes. First and foremost, you guys know who Rob Baronis is? Yeah, he was a kicker for the Tennessee Titans for 9 seasons. He passed away the other day. He got into a car wreck, and he was not a mile from his house and passed away. Actually, something I did not know until he passed away. He's actually married to Terry Bradshaw's daughter.
Right.
Wow.
So, I mean, but new story out today. And I live here in Tennessee, which is I'm only about 2 hours outside of Nashville where this happened. Well, the story now is that it was a road rage incident on his part.
Oh, no.
Oops.
Exactly. There were some students driving, and something happened, and he got out of control and was trying to run them off the road and ended up losing control of his SUV and went off the road and hit a bunch of trees.
God, these NFL guys are getting out of control. I mean, God, haven't we had like another wife-beating incident over the past week or something? Or
Oh, yeah, another wife-beating. And beyond that, there was I'm not even going to pull that joke, while we're talking about serious stuff, but anyway.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'll withhold myself. But yeah, I mean, it's been a bad deal, and I really don't. I mean, you've seen with some of these other, well, not other sports. I'm going to say I'm going to go to professional wrestling, but especially you see a lot of these guys that have had testosterone enhancement and using roids and all that, and they go into roid rage, and because it really affects your brain and everything. Well, a lot of this, the hard hitting and the concussions and the actual damage to the brain. I don't know if this is serious or more serious than people think, but I think it would have been more in the forefront in the past if that was the issue. I mean,
right.
because they wore less protection.
Yeah, that's a problem in the pro wrestling too. I mean, a lot of these guys take everyone always says that it's fake, but they do take real hits to the head, and a lot of these guys, they get sucked up in the head, and they have really bad injuries, and these guys, the professional wrestlers, they perform 250 nights a year. There is no off season in the WWE.
Exactly.
Really
I know a guy who did local league wrestling, and he told me, I mean, there's the only thing that's fake about it is the outcome. I mean, pretty much they're trained on how to take falls. Some of the things where they're some of the things like when they're stomping them or whatever, that's a little, that's staged and everything. But every fall that you see, I mean, how can you possibly fake falling 12 feet from the top rope down to the floor?
Exactly, you can't.
And just because it's premeditated, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Everybody always says wrestling's not ballet, but it's not true. To me, it's like, it is like ballet because ballet is choreographed too, but nobody ever calls it fake dancing. No one ever calls ballet fake dancing because it's choreographed, and it's just as choreographed as wrestling.
Exactly. In wrestling, it is a sport. You have to be athletic. You have to be in shape. You have to take the time to hone your craft and all that. But yeah, I mean, but as I was saying about, the head injuries, I can see, people put that out there, and that's a problem, and that's why there shouldn't be you can't hit a person this way now. But I mean, if you look back to where, like, my grandfather played football, they wore leather helmets, and they hit just as hard back then. Nobody had teeth and, actual real scars. They had metal cleats and.
The glory days.
I mean, yeah, the glory days of football. I mean, when they're playing out there and it's snowing, a foot an hour, and they're still playing football.
Yep.
Right.
You didn't have rain delays.
As far as all this football, domestic violence and all this other stuff goes, I think my boyfriend brought up a good point when we were talking about this. He said, you know what? He said, I honestly think it has to do with the fact that there's a short season and they just spend like 9 months with, when they're not training or not busy doing football-related stuff with nothing to do, all this money and time on their hands, and, they need to be kept busy. They need to have other stuff to do during the off season, or maybe make the season longer or something, because maybe that's a lot of the reason why they're going around doing all this stupid stuff. They don't have
too much time on your hands,
Exactly.
Well, exactly.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, actually, the season itself is almost 6 months long, from the first regular season game to the Super Bowl. So I mean, it's not and they do the entire month of preseason. Then you've got like a month of training camp and everything. And obviously if you're not in a if you're overweight, you're going to get cut. So I mean, they do have to keep in shape during the off season.
Well, I'm not saying they're sitting at home eating bonbons per se, but
Right. But I mean, still they have a lot of time on their hands and a lot of money.
Yeah,
when you're given free reign. Right. And on top of that, especially when it comes to football in America, it's just like soccer around the rest of the world. If you are a star football player starting in junior high school, you're treated like royalty and allowed to do whatever you want to do for the most part. I mean, you don't have to go to class, so, for the most part. If you do something stupid and you get in trouble with the law, they'll kind of slide a little bit. Oh, this is so-and-so, from Alabama or whatever. The one thing that I am seeing now, though, is maybe the reason we're hearing more and more of this, it has to do with social media and everything. Everything is so quick to hit the wire nowadays. You can't brush anything under the rug anymore. Everything's going to be out there. I mean, this could have been happening for years, and they had their policies how they handled it. But they'd handle it in office or in a team within the team or whatever.
And it probably has been happening for years. I mean, the only thing that wasn't nearly as prevalent in the past as it is now is things like shootings and teenage gangs. Gangs have been around since the 50s, maybe even before that. It's just now they have guns.
They have better weapons
than the cops.
But seriously, and so so people are talking, the violence of the sport, is what drives, is a driving force behind this, but I don't agree with that. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, a group of 50 young men and women came out of a restaurant next to a Kroger in Memphis, and they were African American, and this guy was coming out with his groceries, and attacked this guy. 2 workers came to try and help the guy, and this mob of 50 people brutally beat these 3 people for no reason. Now, I mean, of course it was on the news here, but if you go back 12, 15 years ago, well, like you said, you heard about that. You wouldn't have heard about that in the Carolinas.
No, I wouldn't have.
I'd have heard about it, and I could have told you about it, but that's the only reason you... Right, you know? And that's a big deal. I mean, that's crazy. You know, same thing with these, you know...
really cover that stuff, you know, in between finding out how much Kim Kardashian's ass has expanded and, you know, whether or not Lindsay Lohan went to jail today. You know, I could see where, you know, less important news like that would get shuffled down to the, you know, to the bottom of the deck.
Exactly.
Well, speaking
well, I mean,
okay.
Well, hold on that note, which is so, hold on, no, Will, just let me finish this. And, you know, it is sad that that's the world we live in, because if you look today, you go to a newsstand and you can barely find a print newspaper. But you can find 30 different magazines about Hollywood stars. The Insider and In Touch or whatsoever have you. Everything in the grocery market, you know, you got 30 magazines right there when you're trying to check out a bullcrap stories, but you can't get a real handprint newspaper. I mean, so many newspapers are shutting down. It's getting closer.
I mean, the news, that's all it is these days, pretty much, is just gossip. I mean, it's not even news.
Right.
Nobody reports the facts anymore, even when it's about something unrelated to celebrities. It's always just, you know, like when something happens, per se, for example, like when that missing plane disappeared. I mean, every time you tuned into CNN, for example, all they would do is sit and theorize what they think happened to the plane. It's just, this isn't news. You're just sitting here rehashing the same old shit, and you're not telling me anything new that I could learn from this. You're just all sitting there, you know, talking about your opinions like we are now, you know, but we're not getting paid for it.
And that situation's crazy, that whole plane thing. We talked about that for the first 3 weeks when it was gone, and it kind of faded away, but I still sit and wonder, what the heck happened to that plane? Is this really like a Twilight Zone thing? They haven't found a piece of it.
Nope.
It really boggles my mind.
I'm staying out of that one. I'm staying out of that one because it could be anything, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know. It could be multiple different, you know, things. I mean, you could theorize anything, but I really want to know. I want them to find one piece. I don't care if it's a lug nut off the tire. Just tell me that you found something.
Somewhere. Well, I remember reading online somewhere, you know, the stuff they make the black boxes with, why don't they just make the planes out of that? You know?
That's what I was thinking, too.
Going back to 1986 when the Challenger exploded, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, they found every single last little bolt of that ship. And,
right.
And that was using the technology that they had. You know, back then they didn't have satellites that could read the ingredients from a beer can from outer space.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get with GPS. I mean, you can find a fingernail under 7 layers of dirt on a GPS, but you can't find a plane with 300 some odd people.
It totally blows my mind. I mean, it's like I mean, this literally is like a space
going on.
There's something underhand is going on, or this is like a real phenomenon where this plane did just disappear. They're flying, and all of a sudden,
it's one of the two. There's like a Bermuda Triangle thing, or it's just underhanded Malaysian government shit that like we probably are better off not knowing about.
Probably. Anyway.
On that note,
now that we've